Here we go. Thursday night. Shout out to King out there. I see him. He says 5 minutes early. LOL. Nice little jab there by the King, Scotto. Let me say this much, guys. We are 5 minutes late is 5 minutes early in New York. Get that straight, fellas. What a great show we got for you guys. Got some true veterans on the show tonight. Very excited. I was telling the panel before the show, you know, this cold weather that's hit up, I'm gonna say up northern, east, north. It's anything above Virginia. It's freezing. It's been freezing. So I can't really just say it's a New York thing or it's a New England thing. It's legitimately a northeast, I guess, even going up from Virginia up. It's just freezing. I said, you know, I'm feeling a little under the weather. And J-Dub goes, don't you worry about it, Mooch. We got you covered, buddy. You go ahead and rest that voice of yours. We'll take it from here. But I got to be honest with you, I'm very excited about a great show we're going to have tonight. A lot of news breaking this week. A lot of games that have come out or about to come out. Okay, we're talking about Nioh 3 next week. The demo's out. We've got Highguard that came out. We're going to talk about that. Of course, the news breaking on the Microsoft Xbox quarterly reports, Q2, if you will. And we've got some great folks on it. And a lot of great people showing up already in the chat. Guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button, okay? Let's show Mooch a little TLC there, okay? That would be outstanding. And if you look at that fantastic description right above it, you'll see the join button. That's how you get your name in green in that chat. Yes, that is important. It's very important. You're part of the Mooch Maniac family members, and it means a lot to me. But it really does help the channel grow. I know a lot of you guys were waiting to see. We've been over on Twitch.tv. Shout out to Blaze 4K and shout out to Lazy Vibes. We're back this Saturday. Took this week off just between the weather and the scheduling, and I was away on the weekend. But we're back this weekend. A lot of people going over there following us, and I really appreciate it. But without further ado, I'll start with the one and only, the great Death Singer is with us tonight. Death Singer, I got to tell you, I'm always eagerly anticipating your answers and results to these topics I've written for everybody, which I wrote 12 of them. We'll probably get to about 3. But I can't wait to hear what you're going to say about a couple of these video games. Death Singer, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing great. It's always a pleasure to be here, and we got a stacked lineup on the panel. They're all good people. And shout out to that trash can of a game, Highguard.
Interesting. I thought that. Well, we'll see. I don't think you necessarily think it's that bad, but we'll find out.
I do know it's that bad.
Okay, all right. So you think it's that bad? That's fine. Nothing wrong with that at all, Death Singer. Well, as we live and speak, there he is, folks. He's here. He's made it. We don't know what game he's playing. I think it's going to end up being Highguard during the show. We do have a no gaming during the podcast rule, but for some reason, Nib's lawyers have gotten a hold of my people, and they said that he's going to be able to do something for these 3 hours. Nonetheless, the great Nib is with us. Nib, can't wait to hear you got to say as well tonight, buddy. How you doing?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Nib, you're here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm playing Highguard, yeah. Sorry. It's such a clutch game. We've got 10 points left each. It's crazy.
I love it. He's like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm in the middle of playing Highguard, which I can't wait to hear this differential here because shame on me. You guys know I love a lot of these games that come out. I'm very excited for Marathon. I've been playing Arc like crazy. I'm going to be dedicating this weekend and next week and the week after, besides the streaming that I'll be doing to Nioh 3. But I will say I'm very excited to hear. I did watch a lot of the big streamers on launch day talk about Highguard. I was interested in what their thoughts were. Because, let's be honest, a lot of them are going to be able to actually carry that game. Streamers have a lot more say these days than they ever did before. They really can carry a game through something or bring it to its fame. So, Nib, we'll wait and see how that goes. Can't wait to hear what you got to say later on. The great J-Dub City is with us. Jay, great to have you back on. You survived, what do they call it, the Texas Frost? You've made it, well, or as we call it in New York, Tuesday. I want to say shout out to the great J-Dub and to all our friends and family down there in Texas. It is a lot more troublesome down there, but Jay, great to have you back on the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Great panel. I'm ready to get to these topics. Today is going to be a good show, man.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's just so much to talk about and just so little time. Jay, great to have you with us. And our special guest tonight, it's going to be great to have him back on the show. He's back on the East Coast, everybody. The East Coast just feels complete again. The great Porter Rock 77's back with us again. P-Rock, buddy, I know that I know you saw a couple people on X. They were like, oh, we got to get Porter Rock back on CrossFire. I saw, and you were like, absolutely. The minute I saw that, the Mooch symbol went out. I told J-Dub, I threw the Mooch carrier pigeons, flew out. Said, Porter Rock, we going to get you on the show? You're like, absolutely, buddy. Porter Rock, welcome back to Crossfire, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's going on, brother? Yeah, it's been a minute.
It has.
I think the summer was the last time I was able to do it. At that point, I was deep, heavy timing process.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the whole transition out of the military. So I just didn't really have the time and all that. Then I was doing my PMP certification. It was just a lot of stuff on. Now I'm like, join a little bit of retirement before second career path. So I'm like, you know what? It's a perfect to jump on Crossfire. No?
Absolutely, buddy. You made my day. I'll tell you that much. I know the audience is psyched too. Guys, everybody is here. You see, great J-Dub is with us. The great Porter Rock. We got Nib. We got that singer. Hit that like button, guys. It's going to be great. So, I don't really know where to start here because I want to get to the meat and potatoes is definitely going to be the Microsoft situation and what's going on because we've been talking about this. We've been talking about this for so long on Crossfire. Porter Rock, you've been talking about it nonstop. So we're going to get into the whole Microsoft situation in a second. But I did want to wait, and I know Wise is going to be joining us. Wise Old Gamer is going to be joining us at some point very, very soon. But Nib, you always like to start the show with what we're here for, right? Gaming, right? Let's talk real quick. I don't want to do an hour on Highguard, but I want to discuss. This was a situation with a game, okay, that came out. It was first advertised during the Video Game Awards, right? Jeff Keighley's awards. And everyone's like, oh, Keighley's propping it up. There's going to be this. There's going to be that. A lot of people that are streaming the game, some of them actually genuinely like it. And I didn't know if they were saying that because I watched them stream it. And I didn't know if they were saying that because they were just tired of playing 6 months or 4 months, 5 months of Arc Raiders. Or they wanted something new and different. Let me ask you this, Nib. Give us your take on the game from how you experienced it. And my second part to the question is, are gamers too quick to hate on a new game released?
So I genuinely do think, one, a lot of gamers have the attention span of a gnat. So it's like, if they don't get... we talk about instant gratification gameplay. What? Sorry, let me just kill the dude. He's got the shield breaker, and I'm just chasing him down on my horse.
No, you can't give a review while you're playing it. That's never been done in the history of IGN or anything else.
I mean, there's stuff like, look, I'll say this about this game, right? Yes, it is true that you don't get straight into the thick of action, right? As soon as you start off by shielding up your base, which is like a bit mundane. Down, sorry. So you start off by shielding off your base, then you basically spend the first 2 minutes looting, right? A bit like you would in a battle royale. The only difference is you can't drop into a hotspot. So even people who have attention deficit in battle royales, they can just choose a hotspot and they can still get it on straight away, right? This isn't really like that. Initially, the first literally 2 minutes only, you just loot. Go around getting your weapons or whatever and your armor. And
now, there's no loadouts or anything like that, so every game you start fresh.
No. So whatever is RNG. I will say, like, just on that quickly, the weapons are like extremely well balanced. So I generally don't care if I don't get my weapon of choice. I can make it work. I've had like 20 plus round kills with multiple different weapons. So it's very, very well balanced. I think there's like 2 weapons that I don't like. Whatever it is like.
This is so far very consistent with what I've heard of people that have played, but go ahead.
Yeah. So that also the other thing, another thing off the bat. Anyway, let me get it. So the pacing starts off a bit slower, right? But the number one complaint is that the maps are too big. Like you never find anyone, but there's kind of like a flow to how you play this game, right? So initially, the game literally says at the top, gear up, right? That is your cue, right? You're not supposed to be looking for people while you gear up because they're on their side of the map looking for loot. You're on your side of the map looking for loot. And the way the game is designed is there's basically funnel choke points. So in the center hubs of all the maps is where there's this thing called a shield breaker. It's basically kind of like capture the flag, except you use the flag to destroy the force field around their base, and then you penetrate their base and you basically lay bombs around their base, and there's like a defuse and defend type mini game, right? It's basically Counter-Strike, but meets Apex Legends.
Okay.
So the thing,
That's fair.
yeah. So once you kind of understand that, after the very first 2 minutes, pretty much it's like non-stop action until the round finishes. Then you have another few minutes to loot up, except this time all the loot is higher gear, higher end. It's like, it moves up like purple, legendary, which is great in itself because the intensity of combat gets more and more progressively, let's just say, like high skill, because the weapons are killing much quicker, and they have longer magazines and stuff like that. So you kind of really do want to get high end gear before the final round. But when you do, you'll just be killing and respawning much quicker. So basically, the more you progress into a game and the better you are, the more like the ante is upped. So pretty much as soon as the shield breaker spawns, or the care package, there's like this thing that drops from the sky. It always has like the best gear, and it has an LMG, which is just ridiculously powerful. Like people always congregate to get that. And that has an amazing dynamic where like you're battling out in different parts of the map. Then when someone gets the shield breaker, it's a whole different ball game, because then you got 3 people on friggin' like rapid horses or Black Panthers or whatever. These things move super fast. I'm talking they move quicker than like the horses in bloody Breath of the Wild.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you can instant morph off and on them.
Okay.
You could morph onto your horse in the middle of a jump with the horse, and then immediately morph off of it onto a zip line, and then off onto the zip line back onto your horse midair. So they don't act like normal horses. They're kind of like phantom horses, so they can just be morphed whenever you want, pretty much.
Okay.
But they do have their own health. But the cool thing is there's so much strategy, because obviously when someone runs off with the shield breaker, do all 3 of you hold them? What about their teammates? If your side has a shield breaker, maybe you don't want to go with the shield breaker and back him up while he's running. Maybe you hang back, camp, or have a certain spot which is a really good vantage point, and instead you hold them back, just 2 versus 3, while he's bolting off to try and put the shield breaker into their force field to destroy their base force field. But then there's other mechanics as well, because the enemy as well, if they can see that your shield breaker is nearly close to their base and about to penetrate their base, they can basically instant teleport back. You can also, go back. You can also spawn on your shield breaker as well. So once you kind of understand the mechanics, there's so many little things that are designed to basically keep the tempo and action. And basically, the more you understand the mechanics and the better you are, you pretty much non-stop have like thrilling matches. The only time you get downtime is when you're looting, or and it's kind of like the exploration downtime, which I personally love, because sometimes you don't want just go. It's a bit mindless. This, like, you have that tiny bit of a break where you get to explore, you get to enjoy the environment, your mount, talk to your people or whatever, like share different gear. Like, okay, what do you want? This is what when you find something, you tag it. So it has the Apex Legends tag system. So it has all of that. And
so my only thing with this, though, I mean, is that now, can this sustain an audience? We've seen Steam drops, I think, and I'm sure Dessinger has these numbers. Steam was, and it's the reason I go to Steam is not because console matters as well, but Steam has the numbers out there to report. I saw numbers as high as 60, maybe 80,000. I don't know if it breached 100, but now they're down into like 7,000-8,000. I saw as of today as a high. I mean, that's quite a drop off in a week. That's not a good sign for games as a service.
No. So I'll say this. I'll just give some data on that, right? So Shroud actually put out a video today. Shroud, you know Shroud,
Yes.
right? The streamer.
Mhm.
And in his exact words, the game is really, really good, but it has a bunch of issues. That last bit was libbed. It has a bunch of issues specifically on PC. That's something about mouse smoothing, frame rate
Yep.
performance,
Yes.
hitches. Like he listed like 7-8 different issues.
Yep.
I don't have a single one of those issues on PS5 Pro. Literally not one.
Mm-hmm.
I have not had a single glitch. I have not had a single crash. I can't. I mean, maybe there has been minor frame rates drops, but I personally haven't noticed it while playing. I literally haven't even noticed the frame rate drop. The image quality is shit. I think it's too soft, and I don't know if they're using FSR 3 or whatever, but in motion it's a bit smeary. But minor. At the end of the day, these environments are like, assume it's Unreal 5. I don't know, but doing this size of Unreal 5 world while moving at the speed that you are, these shits like move like 80 miles per hour, plus.
Right.
It's still a feat. So he said like it's really good. It has all those issues. So I don't think it's been very optimized for PC. I think they're more gearing it towards the console, or at least that's where their priority was in optimization.
Yeah.
So if you look at Fortnite, nearly 70% of its revenue is from console. PC revenue,
Yeah, that's right.
17%, was combined between Android, Nintendo, and PC. The second above that was Mac OS, iOS, 7%. So I assume between PC, Android, and Nintendo, they each have maybe less than 7%, right? So even though clearly you do want to market it, because at the end of the day it's money, I don't think it necessarily cannot survive without the PC market. I think it could still find audience with the console market, but that doesn't mean people aren't, not enjoying it.
Right.
I genuinely think it's one of those where, because it's kind of a bit, I've heard a lot of people, even Paris, he said, it tries to do too many things, right?
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. It tries to do too many things, and I think that singer's actually been on record as saying very much it does too many things.
What that is to me, what that sounds like? It does too many things for my brain to handle and for me to adjust to. That's what it sounds like to me. But if you're after a higher skill ceiling of gunplay, that's more than just shooting.
That's a load of horseshit. I'm calling it right now.
No, it's not. It's not.
Down on that.
I mean, look at the streamers. Look at the streamers that said it's really good. They're all high skilled streamers.
There is nothing mechanical intensive about that game. There is nothing that requires nuance.
Let's me and you jump into a game right now, and we'll see.
After the podcast, please.
No, I'm not installing it. But
I'm uninstalling it.
It's a game that actually requires a lot of
thought. What I'm saying is, don't talk the talk unless you've walked the walk. Because you are an example of someone
who played the game. But it's like, if you're going to say higher skill ceiling, I'm Masters Plus in League, Masters Plus in Valorant.
Totally different type of game.
Hang on. No.
Totally, I mean, I've beaten all the Elden Ring DLC. Doesn't mean I'm good at this.
Nip. Slow your roll. They are those two games, Valorant and League, a very, very high skill ceiling, mastercraft. You need to get good to reach the top 10% in the world. You need to be super.
That's irrelevant, though. That's a whole different genre and skill set.
No, it's not. That requires skill. No.
League, but a different type of skill.
League is fundamentally. Yeah, but you just said, there's too many things for your brain to process. Have you played a game of high-level League? You're looking at.
Yeah, but I'm saying for a shooter. Most people just want look at the ones that are popular, right? Call of Duty and stuff.
What,
like, Valorant? People just want to run and gun.
Valorant isn't run and gun. Valorant has so many different things you have to decide. Do you want to buy? When do you not want to buy? Do you want to save money? Where's the bomb? What the sight lines you going down? Are you going to snipe down the corridor? What abilities do they have? Did they just use
everything? I get it. Everything you described is in this plus another 10 systems.
No, it's not. No,
everything you just said, word for word, all of those things are considerations of this.
The thing is that this game does way too many things, and it does none of them good. None of these mechanics
I don't
are
agree
good.
with that.
It doesn't do anything.
I
good.
think people who are not good at the game say that.
No, it's.
I've not seen one
genuinely-
person who is really competent at the game say that. Not one person.
Think if
And
you're
you know, I was even
mechanics-
watching some streams. Just I'm like, am I going crazy? I watched some streams. There's that like garage. There's some PC cats basically. They're like complaining. You watch their streams, watch their gameplay, and then you watch someone competent and look at the night and day difference. I'm telling you, it does take time. I'll be honest. Like even when I played it, it was tricky. Like at the end of the day, like there's so many different things. You know, like why is there a shield thing in the middle? Why is there also a bomb? Why is there? But all those things add layers of depth, layers of strategy, layers of complexity.
I gotta tell you, Nib, and it's funny. I do one thing. Now, Dessinger, I know you played it, so you and Nib going back and forth actually is a warranted discussion because you both have played it. Listening to you both, it's funny. I really want to play it just to see which side I'm on here because I've seen it, and I from what I'm watching, and again, Nib, you make a good point. You really cannot critique or review a game if you haven't played it. So my critique review means nothing. Mine's from a visual standpoint. It didn't look like it was. I heard from all the gamers and streamers that I've talked to that have played it. They said that the mechanics felt very good. But to me, it did have it had a lot of what Apex Legends has built into it. As far as the fortress and that, like you were in the audience really loved it when you used the word penetrate. When you penetrated through it and you're getting through it, that's legitimately though that stuff there is. I think that's something that with an audience it grows. I understand they're down into the 7,000 to 10,000 range right now. I don't know what it is this very second. I'm sure the audience will let me know. Is it 4,000 right now?
Mooch, remember, one of the things the PC lot are complaining about, as in the really high-end streamers, is the mouse smoothing and the controls right on PC.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't an issue on console. So I wouldn't say, like, I'm not talking on behalf of the PC crowd.
Okay.
Maybe if I was on PC, I wouldn't like it. I'd be like, this doesn't feel right. And
it doesn't,
why is the performance so shit? And why am I glitching out? And so all the impressions I've written on my Twitter, I've specified. People think I'm attacking PC. I'm not. I'm just making the clarification.
No, if anything, you're attacking and I don't mean this as I shouldn't say attacking. You're critiquing the developer for not optimizing it for PC correctly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not the experience I've had, so I can't share that sentiment. Like, the controls are incredible. They're basically Apex Legends, pretty much. That's the kind of smoothness of it and the quality of it. But onto your point with even the PC reviews, right? Do you know with Steam achievements, nearly half of the people who played the game have not even finished a single match. Pretty much all of the mostly negative reviews are people who have less than an hour with the game.
So
2 hours and more is mostly positive.
So Jay, just I want to get Jay and P-Rock and Wise in here. Jay, let me ask you a question. What Nib just said, I do have to say, I actually was watching at the launch of the game, right? It was, I think by the time a few of the people I was watching that were streaming on Twitch got into the game, it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Game launched at noon here, Eastern time, right? The funny part, Jay, was it was Tim the Tap Man. He was playing, I can't remember who he was with, but whoever he was with, they had one random person playing with them. And they weren't even halfway through the match. And by the way, there's no critique here. I thought this was interesting. Halfway through the match, the random guy that was playing with him and his streaming buddy, literally, he was like, yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I think I'm out. And Tim drops his, he stops. He's like, wait. He stops moving. He goes, you're telling me on the first match, the first game we get into, this guy is out? You're out? And he's like, this game's boring as shit, bro. You know what I mean? It was just a random guy.
It's the TikTok generation, dude. That's how it is now.
I'm sitting there. It is. It has to be. You have to have that instant gratification. Listen, even Matt Damon was recently interviewed about his movie that he's doing with Netflix, or this show he's doing with Netflix. And he said, we have to now write into the script every 7 to 10 minutes what the actual basis of the show is we got to keep the audience always engaged with what we're doing. You can't get lost in 40 minutes.
We got to do the rip.
Right? We got to do the rip. We can't just get lost in dialogue. And I think when you said, hey, 2 minutes to go loot. Oh, then a few more minutes to go over here and do this task, right? They have little taskers you do during it. Then we find enemies and we play. And then you take that and you go over and you try to get through this other fortress. And then you go and it's another 5 minutes. And when you lose people, because there's like those down times, I think that's where you're losing the audience. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm seeing mixed reviews in the chat right now. Some people are saying, Nib, you're right. I thought it was going to suck and I enjoyed it. And the rest of the people said I've either played a few matches and I left the game already or I have no interest in this at all. So everyone seems to be very, very 50-50 on this from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Jay, from what you hear, what do you think, Jay? Is this something you're downloading tonight? Have you played it?
Well, I've been playing it.
What do you think?
Played it on Steam. I played it on Steam and the PS5.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Here's the thing. I will tell you this. The game is okay. It's not, I wouldn't say it's in the great category, but it's not bad. We've played worse, much worse, and much worse games that we've actually spent money for. This is a free-to-play game.
Okay.
With that being said, let's face it. This game was doomed from the beginning. The moment Jeff Keighley showed it on the show, the fact that Jeff Keighley showed it on the show, people hate him.
Right.
People hate how the game was like a and one game that really didn't. I mean, how do you follow what they showed at the Game Awards with that, right? It's not an intergalactic or Wolverine or anything like that.
That's right. That's right.
So people already poo-pooed on it specifically for that. So all of this pent up energy that they had from that was going to be on this game. So this game was never going to be able to get the goodwill that I think the developer started with. And so everyone going in it, because they couldn't, I guarantee you there was articles written before the game was even available. They were ready to hit that send button. They were ready to hit that upload button to shit on it and say blah, 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 this, and this, and then, put Jeff Keighley with it and all kind of stuff. That's just the day and age that we are in gaming. That's just the times that we are in gaming. The fact that it's a free-to-play game, and mind you, when it comes to these shooters and stuff like that, everyone has their default shooter. I don't care who you are, you have a default shooter that you like, you stick with. And then every now and then, a game will come out and you'll reach beyond those borders, play it for a while, and then eventually after you get tired, you'll revert back to your default shooter. That's just how I've noticed. That's just for me from the outside, how I've seen is, it's almost tribalistic. Hey, if you're a COD guy, hey, you don't mind playing Battlefield for a little while, but you're going to eventually go back to COD. You don't mind jumping in Arc Raiders, you don't mind trying Hill Divers, but eventually you're going to go back to your default shooter.
That's right. And that's that I have had a couple conversations with people who said the same thing as well. And a lot of people actually, believe it or not, put hours, if not hundreds of hours into Arc, and now they're back. A couple of my friends are back on Warzone. And it's not that that's, by the way, that's absolutely no diss at all to Arc, but they are at a point right now where they're like, I played Arc enough and I want to go back home. I want to go back home. You know what I mean? They just want to go back to that game that they love. It's comfortable. They really dig it. And Porter Rock, I want to ask P-Rock. P-Rock, let me ask you a question because Jay kind of set this up. P-Rock, I know you for a minute, and knowing you the way I know you, I know that you're not always into the multiplayer games first and foremost. But P-Rock, what do you think when you saw Highguard? A lot of people are saying the reason it got a lot of slack was it shouldn't have been that one more thing from Jeff Keighley, P-Rock. Is that what kind of Jay said it too. That might have been the nail in the coffin right before it came out. But you hear about the game, you hear Nib, Jay saying it's fine. It's free to play too, so it's really hard to argue with $0 out of pocket. But P-Rock, where are you on this whole thing as far as the back and forth online for the past 7 days?
I don't even know how the game looks. If you showed it, like you showed it that. I don't know.
Hold on.
Let's be honest. If Jeff Keighley never showed it, we're only talking about it because of people only giving this game a chance because we've seen lots of dime a dozen. We never talk about it. It has to have something for people to actually pay attention. I've seen multiplayer games, free to plays, come and go. It never hits the algorithm. This game hit the algorithm, and because of Jeff Keighley, people talked about it bad, and because of that, so try it out. And you have people who probably ended up liking it. But the truth is, if he never showed this stuff, especially the last game show, I don't think anybody would. Like, why would people care about Highguard? Like, what is it? Let me ask you this: for those who are playing, what really made you attracted to play this? What is it about the game that you guys saw and be like, oh yeah, I gotta play? Like, what was it?
Yeah, that's actually
I'll start with
probably
Nib.
that's probably
Nib,
the
J-Dub.
Yeah.
Honestly, be honest.
That's a great
Just
question.
what was it that
Yeah, wait,
you saw
and
gotta try it.
P-Rock, I put Nib's game footage in our Crossfire DM on X. Just take a look at that while Jay
I don't want to
and
look at it. I'll be honest.
I don't want to look at it.
I'll be honest.
He's like, I don't even know what it looks
I
like.
don't blame him.
Well, yeah. So Jay and Nib, that's you know what I got to be honest with you. Whenever you see a game, there's something that always entices you to play it, right? There's games that are being shown right now on screen. We saw things. What is it there? It's come out. Some people, I saw Nioh, right? And I saw the mechanics that they changed. They made it so you can go from samurai to ninja, different moves, different abilities, different skill trees, different weapons. Okay, they've made things a little bit different. You can change your stamina, your skill level, things like that on the fly now. Where the point level skill tree that changes. They did things like that I saw. So I can tell Porter Rock I am very excited for Nioh 3 because they've made unbelievable game life changes in Nioh 3 from Nioh 2. Those are things I'm excited for, and I think they built on something that was successful at 2. They made 3. But Jay, when he asked the question like, what did you see in a game like Highguard? What made you want to pick it up? I think I know what your answer is going to be, Jay, because I know I'm right. If I wrote it down, you'd be like, yep, that's what it is. But I want to hear what you're going to say.
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't know about this game if I didn't see it at the Game Awards. And on top of that, I wouldn't have downloaded if, it was kind of like a big splash behind it. Oh, this game is available now and go download it. So it's like, okay, this game is available. Let me go see what this thing is about. Let me go see if it's, if it's worthwhile. That's it. And let's face it, outside of like us gaming on the weekend or something like Mooch, I probably wouldn't play this game unless I'm playing with friends. Other than that, it's not, it's not enough to keep me there playing it solo, but playing it with friends, I think it'll keep people's attention.
So let me, Jay, you nailed that there. So Nib,
okay.
Nib, have you been playing solo? Nib is in the middle of a round right now, I'm sure. Nib,
Yeah.
somebody get right Nib on PlayStation. That's why he lost connection. All right, we'll get back to this. Wise, let me ask you, Wise, because you basically were saying you want nothing to do with this game.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I think a
Nib's
lot
back.
of people are dropping in and out. I can see a lot of people dropping in and out. But I was going to say I can answer the question of what made me interested.
Yes, please.
Like really easily. From the makers or the team who worked on Titanfall and Apex Legends. They're like two of the most awesome friggin' first-person shooters, and all it is the kind of controls and the fluidity of those games, but with a lot more systems, and kind of like it kind of feels like you're a medieval knight, but your weapon is a gun instead of a sword, because the way you charge into battle on your mount, that appeals to me because like the scope of it, the speed, the scale. Like, just walking around on your feet is one thing, but literally gallivanting around massive horses and fucking jumping. Like, there's some structures in this game, like, you'll see, like, bridges and stuff that are, like, hundreds of meters tall. And you'll gallop across this bridge and jump. And you don't usually see shit like that, like, in games at that sort of fidelity. Like, caverns that are hundreds of meters high and just roaming around. So yeah, what my thing was everything that kind of like I liked about those games, but in this different package. And obviously, like one of my most played games ever is Counter-Strike, and it's got like the bomb defusal stuff, right? One of my other most played multiplayer games ever is Apex Legends, and these are the guys who made that. And it's got very Apex Legends-y movement and controls and vibe. Like it kind of has a bit of that feel, even aspects of the art direction are kind of similar. So it's like it's merged the things that I love. So I would have been interested in this irrespective, especially because it's free, right? And even to the point about Jeff Keighley, if he likes it, I'm actually going to be more interested. In fact, I'll take his opinion over 99.9% of the gamers on social media. If you look at the kind of games he's championed and loves, right? Your Half-Life, your Sierra games, your Alan Wake 2, your Last of Us, he actually has Death Stranding and Okami and, things like that, Shadow of the Colossus. Like the kind of games he loves, they're actually amazing games. And I think a lot of the hate he gets is because he's put narrative games on the platform, and a lot of people don't really like that he's done that. And that, you know, these kind of cinematic games now are winning these awards and stuff. And obviously there's certain fandoms who are especially salty because a certain platform has been left out of them, right?
Yeah.
Like a certain platform hasn't even been nominated, let alone won. So, you know, there's more angst and stuff as well. But me generally, like, again, when I look at the repertoire of games that he's really appreciated or loved, incredible games, like, or very different, or something about them, there's an X factor. So I've got no reason to be like, oh, he likes that game, I'm definitely not gonna like that game. So if anything, yeah, him loving it was actually another reason for me to be interested.
No, so that those are very good reasons, and I'm going to read Wise, I want to get your take on this, but the OA 1988, he makes a good point. It's a point from Laura Fryer, actually. He says, Laura Fryer said today, Jeff put the game on everyone's radar, and a lot of studios would die for that opportunity. Unfortunately, it also put a 30 times scope on the game's head, so it needed to be good to have any chance to survive. So the OA here, he says, I love how gentle she is, even when bashing a game or a company to hell and back. So yeah, she kind of did it, a very silent assassin. I like that. Wise, what do you think here before we go on to the meat and potatoes of today's show? Wise, what do you think of the game? Did you get I know you made a couple of jokes before the show on X, but have you gotten a chance to play Highguard? If you haven't, are you planning to? Wise, we can't hear you, buddy.
I think he has to leave and come back because I think a few of us had like a dropout or something.
Discord is.
Yeah, I switched to my PC. How am I sounding, guys?
P-Rock, you sound great now.
Good.
Yeah, crystal clear now. Wise, just drop out and come back in. Apparently,
hey, Mooch,
yes, go ahead, Dusty.
In that case, we broke it down, and other people broke it down.
That's right.
And this game, right, it's kind of like it has the attacker versus defender of Rainbow Six Siege, because that game's based on attack and defense.
Yep.
But then it has, like, you know, the bomb planting, lane focus of Valorant, which it does. But then you have, like, the big open map, which is similar to, like, a Battlefront 2, right? Which, obviously, you know, if you're having such a big map, 3 people is, like, completely pointless, as Battlefront 2 showed you. But then it has, like, the looting from Apex, but then it has the shopping from Call of Duty Zombies. If you played Zombies, you know what I mean about the shopping. And then it has the hero archetypes of any hero shooter. And it's like, so you throw all this together, and it's like, it doesn't focus on anything. All the best multiplayer games, they all have a singular focus. And they just do that really, really good. This does all of it, but it does none of it world class.
I hate that. I hate that as gamers we're trying to dumb down games. Why can't games do more systems? It's like we're saying, no, don't do too much. We can't handle it. Why?
Yeah,
if
you're gonna do more systems, do them good. Don't half-ass it.
How many hours do you have in this game?
I have an hour, and then I uninstalled.
Yes, you epitomize what I was talking about earlier, right? Hate playing. So I'm saying that is not sufficient. You know, you talk about archetypes, right? Let me tell you, as someone who's put a lot of hours in this and tried so many different characters and is winning games constantly with these different characters, almost like I would say near enough every character, their abilities has purpose and effectiveness. It used in the right way. Like Slade, right? He's got this friggin' like comets fires down from the sky. When enemies are camping on a higher vantage point, and say you've got the shield, you know, what breaker, and you're rushing through, he can be a game changer because you bring comets down from the sky. They ain't going to be sticking around on that little cliff camping for very long, right? And even his regular, line of lava can break up the line of attack and force enemies to move out of that way. So, you know, when you're shooting down a choke point, right? He puts down his fire and immediately the choke point has to change because people can't stick around in the lava. Likewise, like another one, the lightning guy, right? When you're diffusing, when you've planted a bomb, put your lightning shields around the bomb, and every time they come and try and defuse it, they're getting electrocuted and they lose some shield and you can pick them off easier. the lady who teleports through walls, again, like she can go through the walls, not only letting your team through, but she can also go through and open doors, etc. So the point is, like, she can micromanage the map, so you don't have to be blowing doors up and blowing walls up to try and get into the bomb section. She can literally funnel you through, and she can go invisible. So while you guys are engaging enemies, she can go invisible and literally sneak plant a bomb. So literally every character, I do mean it, like they have some sort of purpose. The ice guy, he's got ice walls, right? Again, if they're choking you out or you're getting pinned down, throw up an ice wall and immediately you cut off the threat. You get a few seconds to get your shields back. Or like he turns into an ice monster, right? When you've planted the bomb, right, when they're about to defuse, if it's getting too hot and there's too many people in that room, switch into the ice monster. You've got shitloads of health. You can slam down, and suddenly, instead of defusing the bomb, they got to worry about this ice monster. So yes, they're archetypal, but they actually have really good gameplay purpose, each of them.
Yeah, but if I wanted something like that, I'd just play Valorant, right? Because it's a shooter, but it's like they all have, like, each individual. Take, for example, Astra, who's my favorite controller in the game. It's like you get to go into your astral form, and, like, for your ultimate, you could make an immovable wall in the middle of the battlefield. So, like, you could go into the form, you activate your ultimate, and you could shut down one lane completely. So people are trying.
I'm not saying Valorant doesn't have good abilities, though. You're saying with less than an hour in the game.
I'm saying it does it better. They put that in the game.
You couldn't say that with that.
Can I help you both out? For my guy who don't care about multiplayer, let me help you out both out. And I play multiplayer.
Thank you.
I just got tired of it. Let me help you out. This is what you guys are already doing. I'm playing certain game that has certain character that does something. And the result of that is something, which allows me to do something, and that's why the game is great. The only question is, one game, that character that does something, that leads to something. You like that game
better than the other something.
You don't like. That's all
right.
you're doing. That's what you clearly don't like
making.
Highguard's character that does something, leading to something. But Nib does.
Yeah, the point I'm making, though, is one is an educated opinion, one is an uneducated opinion, right? I'm not making an uneducated opinion about Valorant. I wouldn't do that. Right. That's not my nature. I wouldn't be like, yeah, that sucks after playing 30 minutes. Like,
listen, but Nib, here's the thing. Yeah. He played an hour. Listen, Nib, he played an hour. He doesn't like it, and that's okay.
But then,
listen, Nib, I don't even know how the game looks, and I'm telling you I don't like it. I'm telling you right now. I ain't looking for that trash. And I didn't look at it.
But it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It has to be viable in the niche that it's trying to compete for. I mean, it's going.
And guess what? The collective audience will make that decision.
Exactly, and I don't think it does. This is not a game for me. As I was telling you, like before, am I coming in fine?
You're fine now, Wise. You're great.
So, like, yeah, I was joking about this game. I looked at this game and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to play this shit, you know? And I mean, like, again, but this is not a game I would play normally. Like, as I think, Porter, you said, we all have our go-to shooter, and my go-to shooter is Helldivers 2. And when I want to play a shooter, that's what I play. But this is not my cup of tea. Now, I'll tell you whose cup of tea this is, and it is the audience, the peak audience that they're looking for. My kid plays your Valorant, your Apex Legends, all of the games that this game is trying to sort of squeeze into. And he played all of 2 hours. I watched the match, and it took a couple of edibles to get through it. But anyhow, long story short, it was boring as fuck. I didn't like it. But then it was boring as fuck in the beginning for me. And for him, after 2.5 hours, it was boring as fuck, and he left it alone. He went back to, I don't know what the fuck they're playing these days. I think GTA Online for all I know. But, and see, that's the thing. Like, you know, this does not bode well. I mean, it is a catch-22, right? Keighley, like, if Keighley did not say this or announce this game at the very end of the Game Awards, it would not get the buzz. But at the same time, it got the negative buzz because it was on the Game Awards. So it's kind of like, you know, a catch-22.
So, you know, Wise,
like damned if you don't.
Wise, here's the thing. Let me piggyback off what you're saying here. Then I'm going to switch subjects here slightly, because I think the OA made a good point here. He said, you guys see a casual player base coming back to the game consistently. Let me just reiterate that. That's probably the question that we should be asking here, because when you talk to people who played Arc Raiders is very much like Escape from Tarkov. But people even say this, and the Shrouds have said this to the world. Everything that it's a casual version of Tarkov, right? And that's the one thing you want. Whether you go and when you go into Ark, you have nothing day one, right? And then if you play the game and you get great loot, and then you die, you leave with nothing. And yes, you are furious, and you're raging, and you're pissed. But the point of the matter is, you leave that match the same way you started the game, and you can get right back to that. So it's a very casual pick up and go, lose, pick up and go, pick up and lose, go. You know, it's that cycle, and that's addictive,
Mooch,
right?
I wouldn't recommend Highguard to my brother-in-law who just plays Call of Duty Warzone and FIFA. I would not recommend it to him. This is not a casual-centric kind of game. This is not a turn your brain off and shoot, bang, bang kind of game. This is like actually there's a lot of systems and strategy and there's a flow and, you know, like, and if you don't want that and you just want to get into the thick of it and kill loads of people, this is not for you. This is not for you.
And there you go.
Okay, so what
I'd say it's definitely a mid-level in terms of skill ceiling, like in terms of mechanics, because it's like when you get to the high level, it's like I always come back
to an hour of play is not high level, dude.
No. But what you have to understand is,
me and you can jump on now,
like,
and we'll see who's high level.
No. Let me finish my point. The thing is, it's like you said, it's because people can't. It's like no, like. A game like League has a ton of mechanics, and it has like 140 million monthly active, right?
But League is not attacking shooting people, bro.
No, it's not.
This is a totally different
way more mechanically intensive. That's what I'm saying. So when you're saying, "Oh, it's just because people don't get it, they have this TikTok mentality," it's like, no. League,
the way I would describe it is like, even though Gran Turismo and Forza are both racing games, they have completely different styles of gameplay, right? Even those two, even in the same genre, they're not really comparable. One is a hardcore, well, not hardcore, not iRacing style, but let's just say more hardcore sim racer. One is like a casual adventure car game, right? And you're comparing completely different genres. Just because someone like plays hard games like, say, Elden Ring, it does not mean they're going to be a master at a shooting game. It's two worlds apart, right? Just because they're amazing at, you know, let's just say The Witness, a puzzle game, or Blueprints, very, very mentally demanding with the mathematics and the puzzle solving and everything. It does not mean they're going to jump into a shooter. So I really don't understand this.
The problem let me say this. Let me say this. I think that the argument is not whether it's going to bring back the casual player. I think you guys are faulted in this regard. This is not creating its own niche, okay? Like, for example, games like Fortnite created its own niche or whatever. This is going into a pre-existing niche and trying to squeeze somebody else out of it. So it's not that can it get a casual user base, but can it upstage the games that it's competing against, where it's like your Apexes and your Valorants and stuff like that. That is the operative question. It's not whether it's the casual or if it's hard or easy. Does it have the legs to sort of take away the user base that is already established in all on the other two IPs? That's the question.
But then again, to Nib's thing is, he said earlier, people don't like it because of high skill ceiling. The thing is, they were way higher.
No, not just high skill ceiling, because it's the pacing. Because it's not constant shoot, bang, bang. It's, you know, you have the loot, you have the base, you have so many different systems, mechanics, bomb defusal, shield,
here's what
you literally listed like 7-8 different things.
I'll let you finish your thought, because I want you to get that out. But here's what I'm doing. I didn't want to spend too long on this, and I'm glad we actually discussed it. I can't give Detzinger a homework assignment. I'm going to give myself one. I implore you to join me, Detzinger. Let's play this game through. Let's join Nib tomorrow. Play this game, and we will have a quick segment on next week's show to see what we thought from after playing it at least 4 or 5 rounds together before we.
I played it with the Discord. We played as a squad, and they are the most avid shooting gamers ever.
But they may not have liked it, and that may have put that thought process.
No, like we always play everything as a team, right? And most games, it's like shit. We were even having fun with Concord. You know how much I hate Concord, but when we were playing together, we were enjoying Concord.
Yep.
You know, it was enjoyable with friends. Highguard, it wasn't even enjoyable with the friends. That was at least Concord. We had a fun time with it. I mean, it was garbage game at the end of the day, but we still had fun with it.
Jay, I almost said we should actually timestamp Dessinger saying he had fun with Concord, but it was an immediate diss right afterwards, though, Jay. So we're gonna go ahead and not.
You could cut that out.
You cut that part. We'll cut that out, P-Rock. All right, listen. All right, Dessinger.
All you need is the 3 seconds.
Dessinger, if you don't mind, the audience wants us to move on. If you don't mind, Dessinger, and we will come back to it. All right, we'll come back. P-Rock, let me get you.
We spent more time on Highguard than Jeff Keighley did.
That's right. We did actually. That's how CrossFire rolls. You know what I've noticed, P-Rock and J-Dub? These two guys are the veteran guys I've known for 10 years podcasting. How did we go from 4-hour podcast? We all worked ourselves down to 2-hour podcast, and now we're all back up to 4-hour podcast. What the hell happened?
I don't know.
You
on my channel,
P-Rock,
like 5 hours. I'm like, how the hell this is happening?
P-Rock, you are on 5 hours.
Mine's has always been 3.5.
You have. You've always been wise. You've always been 3. P-Rock's up to 5 hours now, guys. I don't even know how P-Rock.
Can I just say something about Concord?
Yes.
Concord is actually mechanically broken. I'm telling you, me and the boys I played with, right?
Yes.
We went 14-0, and I could have taken a shit and still won the game because there's certain characters and abilities that once you merge them with certain weapons, it's like undefeatable. So it's literally not balanced, and with the spawn camping and like it's actually like an actual broken game. Certain weapons are far more powerful than the others.
Right.
It didn't have like any unlocks and loots, and the cosmetics were shit. It didn't have diverse so that like in terms of quality, and when I talk about like refinement and balance and stuff like that, actual gameplay, it's 2 worlds apart from Highguard. Like you may dislike both of them, that's fine. But I mean, Concord actually mechanically is not in the same league.
Well, let me tell you something. I pray to God Jay Barry was not listening to that portion of the show. Jay, go ahead and ignore everything that Nib just said. Shout out to the great Jay Barry. Jay Barry was literally on X yesterday and today being like, how about Concord comes back, PlayStation? So shout out to Jay Barry. P-Rock.
When I saw that, I'm like, this guy's crazy, man.
Yo, he loved it. He loved it. He did. He loved it. So P-Rock, let me get you in here, man. You did a video this morning too about Xbox Anywhere, and it's funny because it kind of all ties together. And everybody wants. We never get our flowers, P-Rock. That's all right. Others will get their flowers. We never get ours. We've been saying that the Game Pass model probably was not going to work from day one. We've been saying. I remember people. Nib was here through the whole thing. Deathsinger was here for the whole thing. Wise was on here making great cases to make a great Crossfire show. But I've been saying it just doesn't make sense for the masses. Here we are now, even some of these games. And shout out to Nib. I'm going to use Nib. Nib is literally an Encyclopedia Britannica. God bless him. He's got game revenue down 9%. Xbox content service revenue down 5%. Xbox hardware down 32%. And that's year over year. It was down last year too, and the year before that, I think. P-Rock, listen, we know Xbox is the publisher. Let's just put this out there. Xbox, the publisher, will be fine, right? They're going to be fine. But the brand itself, the name, this is an Xbox, everything's an Xbox, that slogan, that campaign move, not doing well, P-Rock. The Xbox Play Anywhere, shout out to Mikey Barra. He went online yesterday or the day before, and he said that may be something that sounds very enticing for the consumer, but realistically, in the business world, they do not want you to buy the title once and own it everywhere. That's not something I think he used Rockstar as an example, and I get that. That makes perfect business sense. P-Rock, where are you on all of this after we see this? I mean, it's just the Q2 results. These are an all-time low. And then I think, P-Rock, you even mentioned that, who was it there? Amy Hood even came out, and she's predicting the next quarter to show negative results in certain categories. Where are we with Xbox, the brand, not the publisher, but the console, this hybrid that's coming out, the handheld that didn't do well, that everyone said was going to do well, and then there was the fake praise. It's not there. It's not there right now. That fan base, they're not happy, and I think it was because a lot of people sold them a lot of BS. What do you think, Porter Rock?
I think it's just everything that we've been talking about, for the last 2-3 years. Is some people are now even waking up to it.
That's right.
And I'm just like, man, it took you this long to catch up. Let's break it down, right? Because now I'm seeing a new narrative with the Xbox is dead and whatever. Listen, when we talked about Xbox is dead, we were primarily talking about the console and the brand as a console, because that's how Xbox started. I mean, the funny part is the box is literally in the name, Xbox. Xbox.
That's right.
It's like literally in the name. You know, it's not X Games or X Publisher. It's Xbox. It was all about the box. It was about the console. That's how it started. That's what Microsoft originally created, right? And that's what it was all about. It was about the console experience and trying to gain market share, compete with PlayStation, compete with Nintendo, compete with whoever's in the market for that market share, you know, create exclusives for that box, get publishers, you know. And we saw at its height, Xbox was successful at it during the 360 era. And then things just changed in the Xbox One. Everything was just falling off, and you know, and I know in your early years you tried damage control and Mooch. I know you tried your best.
Oh yeah,
you realized,
absolutely.
Like,
but
wait a minute, you realized, like, wait a minute,
I snapped out of it in 2017.
Like, you know, you're like, I didn't leave Xbox. Xbox left me.
They left
like,
me.
You tried.
I think I even said that back then. I'm like, I didn't leave. They left everything we
We
loved.
land on Plymouth Rock, landed on us.
Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty much, you know, it was pretty much like even like the most diehard. But I would say like the difference between you and them, you guys, like you know, Next Gen 720, Iron Wolf, and many of those who are like just got fed enough is because at the end of the day, you guys wanted, you know, you guys are all about a console that's great, regardless of the name. You know, if you're great, be great. And you realize Microsoft wasn't focusing on the console. We saw more messaging on, you know, Game Pass, play on PC, play anywhere, you know, pay anywhere entitlements. And it's like, all right, you have all these messages on everything but the actual box. Like, what's your message on the box? And they tried in the beginning to talk about, oh, we have the most powerful console in the world, we have the most cheapest. But once the consoles came out and it didn't deliver on that, then that's it. It was pretty much over, right? People are like, wait a minute, you didn't deliver on the power. You didn't do any of that stuff, right? And then I think Microsoft, and we saw from Matt Booty's email, you know, they're going to try to outspend PlayStation, right? That's officially his comment. You know, that's officially, you know, the stuff he said in the email and networks that we got to see now. You know, we were able to see. And I think that was their idea when they bought Bethesda. You know, they're like, you know what, Sony's doing too much. Let's buy Bethesda so that way they can never touch any Bethesda they can get. And while we're at it, let's go get, you know, Activision. But I think they made a deal with the devil, and they didn't realize what happened when they absorbed all these publishers and, you know, studios. And they're like, wait a minute, we don't have the foundation to support this. We don't have the foundation to make Call of Duty exclusives. We don't have the foundation to make
it's wild,
Elder
right?
Scrolls exclusive, Fallout exclusive. They don't have the foundation, and the reason why is because they didn't take care of the foundation. You know, they kept talking too much about things outside of the box and not enough things about the box. Everything was all about, you know, gamers should have a choice of where you play anywhere. And I get the message. It sounds consumer friendly and all that. I get it. But when you tell a person you don't have to buy my box, then the consumer's gonna be like, fine, then I won't
buy it.
If you ain't all about the box, then why should I be all about the box, right? So this we kept warning people, like, Microsoft's putting too much focus on Game Pass, this, that, and third. You know, they went all hard on a system that wasn't tried and true. You know, Sony, you know, they were slower to the things. They realized, wait a minute, we could do, you know, a system where you have a lot of games at a subscription, but we can't do day one games because that's going to put us in a financial bind.
That's right.
There's no way subscriptions can make up, you know, like Spider-Man sold 11 million in the first 3 months at $70. Subscription is not going to cover that.
No.
Unless you have like 200-300 million subscribers. 50-60 million subscribers is not going to cover that. You're not going to cover the development costs. And then you do that repeatedly 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you know, something's going to give, right? It's really bad for the business and stuff, right? So you're seeing that, right? But then also you got to look at the gamers habit. I know the biggest logic people try to say, oh, but you got Netflix, right? I'm like, yeah, I got Netflix. You know why I got Netflix? Because I don't really give a shit about movies like that.
Right.
I'm not. Right. I don't have such a higher standard for movies. I'm not that deliberate. I'm willing to just be like, I'll look at this. And to tell you the truth, I didn't buy movies to begin with ever.
What movie though?
But free anyways on TV,
P-Rock,
HBO, cable.
What movies
were deliberate?
What movies have been absolute blockbuster to come out of Netflix? Like Netflix series that's been, well, even Stranger Things has been getting bashed for the past 2 seasons, right? And that was like their beloved thing. The Rip has gotten awful reviews. Awful reviews.
Like
Like I'm just saying, like, and that's not saying someone can't enjoy it, but like you
Yeah,
said, it's
you got game. Well, you still got like Squid Games, don't you? Like, that was pretty big. For
But
them,
here's
too.
the
yeah, but I mean, you're
When you
picking
think about it,
one.
though-
You're picking one. Wise, you just chimed in with
Yeah.
one thing. Netflix has been doing this for how long?
Eons, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Now,
and
here's the thing.
It's the same thing that people do at
Here's the
Xbox
thing.
and Game Pass. They're like, well, come on, there's Forza. How many times have we heard, but Forza is the best game that Xbox has? We've been hearing that the whole generation. I got it. Forza's
No, but
good.
The
What else?
problem
Here's the
started.
thing.
We can all agree here that Xbox was peak Xbox during the 360 era.
Of course.
But I think that was the
Absolutely.
problem. That's where most of us who are diehard Xbox or who are on the Xbox camp or like playing it. That's when we jumped on board. And the problem was that they saw what the success in that business model will be, and I don't think they were happy with it. Because again, what makes Microsoft happy is totally different than what makes Sony happy. One is a bigger company and needs more profit from their subdivisions than the other. So I think that's why they started going with that whole Connect thing and started to go into more people. Then it sort of, that's what they were doing ever since they started that whole Connect thing with the 360. They saw that, okay, if we did this model that PlayStation sort of perfected, this is the amount of money we can get. And they were not happy with the amount of profit they were going to get. So they were trying to sort of increase their user base. And in that, you know what they say, a jack of all trades is a master of none. So, they sort of diluted everybody. So it's like, okay, people were like, okay, this is what made you popular and famous. And you're sort of abandoning it. Remember the Xbox One era, they sort of let go of all of their second party and first party IPs apart from Halo, Gears, and Forza. They had all these other people that were making compelling, either in a first party metric or a second party metric, games that people liked. As much as you may like or dislike Fable 2, Fable 3, there was a sizable base that liked it. However, with the one generation, they did not want that. They said, okay, we just want to make a box that all the third-party games will be on, and we want to reach more people. And they've been doing that since the Series X and S, and this is the natural fruition of that. And the problem with that is you lose that because you do, as we said, if you make the box irrelevant, then what's the purpose of the box? So there you go. And that has been the problem since day one. They're not happy with the success of the standard model. They've been always trying to grow the user base, and they just don't know how to do it.
Okay. Well, I mean, so just real quick, someone's like, Mooch, what's Mooch talking about? The rip was great. Rotten Tomatoes, 80%. The viewer rating, 64%. No, listen, it's not to say you didn't enjoy it. It's not to say you didn't enjoy it. Like people liked what is it? Double Fine's latest game. What was it? Was it the Keeper? And that doesn't mean you said, well, Mooch, I logged on to Game Pass. I played Double Fine's latest game and I liked it. That's fine. There's nothing to critique about that. But it didn't move subscription numbers. That's what we're talking about. Like if you don't have Netflix, you're like, wait, the rip is there? Oh, well, that's what I've been waiting for. I haven't had Netflix for 10 years. That's what you know what I mean? Sign me up for the rip. So I'm just saying, like, you need. It's not that you don't enjoy it. Everyone always goes right to their. And Nib, this isn't about you. People say all the time with Game Pass, they go right to their feelings. Well, I liked it. Well, great, but did the casual market like it? That buy 80 million games or 20 million games, or depending on what, if you're talking multiplayer games as a service, or you're talking about single player and you want to hit that magical $10 million 10 million sold threshold. Like that's all I've been trying to. You know what I mean? It's not that.
It's not like the blockbuster. Let's just say a subscription seller. The way we have system sellers.
Yes,
it's not a subscription seller, right?
Yes.
But like to the point with Xbox, it's weird because like. You get a lot of hate on this podcast, right? Mostly from the PC Xbox side. And usually it's for us saying all the things that end up transpiring. Isn't that bloody funny? Like,
yes,
literally, even I think I was on your podcast like 2-3 podcasts ago, and I said, look, this quarter's result is going to be one to watch out for because I have a feeling it's going to be negative, right? Yeah. I did say that.
And it's a holiday quarter, by the way, Nib, which is kind of a double burn.
It's supposed to be the biggest quarter.
That's right.
Where you
sell the most games, I'm going to be honest with you, right? It's actually worse than I anticipated somehow. so I thought the fact that they increased the Game Pass price in October by 50% may have offset some of the difference, because obviously if they have the perception that they could lose here, there, they usually try and make it up in other ways, right? So they increased the price, but what's obviously happened, we had a lot of reports about sort of quite a lot of Game Pass cancellations.
Yes,
or something must have happened, because they're down over 600 million. I can tell you exactly. They're down 623 million just in one quarter. This full year, just in one quarter, they're down 600 and something million on the previous quarter, and they are down 1.14 billion from the first holiday quarter that they had when Activision was part of Xbox. So in the space of 2 years, not only have they had 2 holiday quarter year-on-year drops in a row, but they've actually less 1 billion. Now, I do understand that the previous year was overall still higher than the previous year before that, and there were reasons for that. Again, they put the Game Pass price up without the inflations, because it wasn't that egregious price increase.
Can I play devil's advocate if you don't mind?
Yeah,
go ahead, boys.
Okay, so this is going to be what the argument's going to be tomorrow morning. I promise you this. Oh, this is just a course correction from COVID. Care to address?
What do you mean course correction from COVID? Because that
this is just the last. We grew so much in 2020 because of COVID, and everyone's playing at home.
I think they used that already.
Natural progression.
No, I'm comparing to 2023 and 24.
No, that's the argument that's going to be. Well, we're just correcting from the big surge of gamers that we got in 2020.
Okay,
so this is not
so do you know what my response to that would be? How is exactly in exactly the same time frame PlayStation having double-digit revenue growth both years?
This is true. This is what I'm going to say. This is what
I'm going to say this.
We're still going. COVID was a lot, and we're still correcting from COVID.
We're still correcting from COVID.
I'm gonna say this, and this is annoying seeing this. They try to conflate and be like, this is an industry problem, right? I'm like, hold on. If you look at the trajectory for Xbox, you had 80 plus million consoles for 360. Then it shot down to 50 plus ish million for the Xbox One. Now it's like it's not even at 30 at this point. So you see this short trajectory, right? Meanwhile, with PS3, it was 80 plus million. Then it shot up to 100 plus million, and PS5 is going to go up to 100 plus million too. But because PS5 is about 2 million behind PS4, they see that as the same as Xbox Series, not keeping up with Xbox One. I'm like, wait a minute, you're talking about a 20 to 30 million console difference, and you guys are saying 2 million's the same? Like, and their logic is, well, behind is behind. I'm like, listen, hold up. Let's look at this from a house. You can have a house with a broken boiler, and now you ain't got hot water. Is that an issue for your house? Absolutely. Especially in the winter, nobody wants to take a shower in cold water. So that's a problem. But down the block, you got a house burning down to the ground. They are not the same problem. You cannot say, oh, this is a problem for both houses. No. One's about to be homeless. There's a family that's about to be homeless. The other one, you're going to take a cold shower, or you just don't take a shower at all, and you wait till it gets fixed. It's two totally different aspects. PlayStation might be 2 million behind, yet they have the most profitable generation, period. Out of all their generations of PlayStation, not the same. This is not an industry problem. Yeah, PlayStation's fine. PlayStation is absolutely fine. Yep. This is a Microsoft problem because they don't have vision. They didn't put proper vision behind the box. They tried to make Game Pass the front runner of the platform.
They made it the brand.
And in fact, both other console developers or console players are fine. PlayStation is fine, and Nintendo is doing fine as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. What you call it? They talk about PC, like, let's be honest, we don't need Microsoft to talk about PC. PC's been fine. In fact, the head honcho of PC is Steam. That's the leader of PC. Let's all be honest. Steam's the leader of PC. So why is Microsoft talking all this stuff? Like, you didn't have to talk about that. We already know you make Windows. The majority of the world use Windows. You don't have to say anything. Steam has the lead on this. The one thing Microsoft had to get right was their console. Focus on the console. talk about the console, right? And do your best to make the console the most competitive platform, right? We understand you had a slip up, right? With the whole connecting. Well, guess what? PlayStation had a slip up. PlayStation had a slip up with the whole Blu-ray and so process. I would say PlayStation's slip up was even worse, right? Because Microsoft would connect, that was just a stupid idea, but they could have just moved on with that and just went back to exclusive. Because it wasn't like the Xbox One as a console itself was bad.
That's right.
It was still a pretty well built console. It was easy to make games for.
Yes.
It was easy, to port titles to. It wasn't a hard console designed for. It
but
was
even
just
more than
just
that,
a stupid idea.
But even more than that, go back to the 360 era with those things red ringing over and over and over again. How many 360s did people buy? Why did they keep buying it even though their original console failed? Because the games were good.
The games were good. But
some people didn't wait.
But it's funny.
Didn't wait for the warranty.
But
they're like, screw the warranty. I ain't waiting 2 weeks for a new 360. I'm just gonna go buy a new one now.
Yeah, and listen,
you take rice. That's what I do.
And a lot of people don't like the argument here. But like the other thing is they went out and bought these studios, right? Now the easy answer is, well, you should have made those games exclusive. That's fine. I'll ride with you there for a certain extent. But they bought these studios and then put them on cruise control. Do what you do. But the problem was, and I said this years ago, I said, when you buy somebody and take them from independent to now you're paying their rent, you're paying for their holiday, you're paying for the lights, that like ingenuity to get up and rush and create, like Doom the Dark Ages. Yes, was it fine? It was fine, but it didn't take that next leap. It didn't do that next thing. The numbers show it. It didn't do that, right? You have Starfield. It was Starfield, whatever it was. That didn't do anything that they wanted it to. It was supposed to be Todd Howard's next baby, the big thing. It didn't do anything. It just didn't make the numbers that they wanted it to do. Then they just dialed it in at Activision. I mean, Black Ops 7, you guys know I love Call of Duty. You guys know I love that game. I really do. I enjoy that game. This year has never felt more like a copy and paste ever before like it is. I understand. I think the mechanics are a little bit better. That's not bad. They tweaked a few things that are cool. But the maps, everything, it just feels so dialed in. It feels so dialed in. So, and then they go up against Battlefield 6 and go against ARC, and they get absolutely clobbered, right?
Well, there's also something with the environment and the culture, because as you know, Microsoft is on a cutting spree, and I think all of these developers are like, okay, am I next? If this shit
that's the other thing, right?
Morale is probably absolutely dire at Xbox right now. They cut over 4,000. I calculated based on my or whatever, and speaking to different people, over 4,000. Like my number was like, but Metro newspaper.
But if you're at risk of losing a job, are you going to go with a surefire bet, something that you know is tried and true and works over and over again? Or are you going to try something that is experimental?
Years ago, I would have said tried and true, right, Wise? But now you're seeing that some of the tried and true that are not making sales numbers because they didn't take that next push or that next leap have now pivoted to where that has ended in that developer's demise. So I mean,
but also that developer was sort of scared in the offset. They're like, "Well, this thing may
you're right.
not
Yeah,
work.
no, I get
we got
it.
These people breathing down our throats."
I get, but you remember?
We'll see. Activision's problems they brought it upon themselves because they really ain't been doing much for years. Like everyone loves to see this new shit that they do, but Call of Duty's always been Call of Duty, and then they had the goal to come out on Twitter and say we're too big to fail.
We're too big to fail,
it's
right?
Like
That's
you arrogant motherfuckers just realized that you copy and paste shit. You've been doing this for since Black Ops 2. They've been copy and pasting. Actually, no. I think Black Ops 2 is pretty unique. Probably Black Ops 2 and before they were unique. But then it started going more iterative and just copy and paste.
Yeah, but they're not guilty. They're not the only ones guilty of that. I mean, EA is
no. But Activision is just set in their ways. COD's our baby. We can't lose. No one could lose. COD is fantastic, and they've probably realized what we're doing isn't working. We need to do something different because Black Ops 7 is just Black Ops 6.5. That is exactly
it's a copy paste. It is the worst. And you know what, Detzinger, I agree with. But P-Rock, how many times did we hear during the FTC trials? Well, don't worry. Microsoft's going to go in there. They're going to get rid of all the problems with Activision. Jay, you remember? Now it's saved.
I remember.
Phil's going to go in and take care of everything. Now it's in good hands, and they got all the money in the world. And what did we get? We got a copy paste.
The best way to make you forget about your old problems is to create new ones. I'm just saying.
and that was one thing. When people were saying, "Oh, Microsoft's gonna make all these great moves," I'm thinking, if Microsoft had great moves, how come they don't fix the stuff they have internally?
Right. What happened to
Halo? Fix Halo? How come they don't fix Gears?
All they do is pivot. They just pivot
you know
whenever
what I'm saying?
something fails.
What
And
about fixing
the
Windows?
drones just support it.
Give us a
No
build that
matter
doesn't
what.
fucking crash every so often. So I can run
You know what I'm saying?
No
I
matter
can run
what they
Word
do.
without resetting my fucking computer over and over again.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know,
Nip.
ultimately,
you're right.
Microsoft has done a lot. They have done a lot of nothing. They don't have a simple strategy focus. Like going back to the PS3, they realized where they messed up. You know, the cell processor, trying to push Linux on the PS3, trying to have all these fancy stuff, right? Blu-ray, and just trying to be a all-out entertainment center. They reset themselves during the gen, right? They didn't wait a whole gen to fix their problems. They say, you know what? We're gonna go back to simplicity. We're gonna go back to what we are. You know, a platform that provides games and get into relationships with our publishers as a publishing arm and try to get people to bring games to PlayStation, right? And they ended off the PlayStation 3 generation on that note, which fed into the PS4 to continue that. Be a console, get your first party, get your publishing arm, reestablish your second party, third party relationships, and that will bring you back, and it worked. Microsoft has not done that at all. At all.
I think it's also
not even tried. Nothing. They let Xbox One die, and they thought they could fix it in the series thing. They literally let the Xbox One gen in the most horrible.
They thought they were going to be able to have
way to end a gen.
They had a cheaper SKU coming into this. I get it. On paper, we've had people on Nib. You were here. We had people on the show. We had people that were in some of the media, and they were saying, "Listen, on paper, how can you be at the time? Game Pass was somewhere between the $9.99 and the $14.99. I can't remember at the time, right?" And they were like, and you have a SKU for $2.99. They're like, PlayStation can't compete with that. Microsoft's just using they're using their money to wipe them out. But the problem was that gamers don't react to things the same way we entertain other forms of media. You know, the way that you digest your favorite sitcom on Netflix or Paramount Plus is not how you digest a game like Nioh 3 or a game that goes to Xbox Game Pass, right? So I think the logic in the boardroom was there. But the reality, and what do we always hear from Xbox? Well, Xbox executives play video games. Well, do they?
I don't think Phil Spencer has a very good barometer.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a very good. That's the thing. I don't think he has a very good barometer for what's high quality, right? Because a lot of the stuff he pushes, like Crackdown 3 and Sea of Thieves, like they weren't well received games. So if the head honcho doesn't have that eye for quality, how is the rest of the outfit?
Leave that all alone. Forget Crackdown 3, forget all of that. How do you release the first image of your flagship IP on the new console in the form that it was in? That's all my question is. That is it. That is the only question I have. Fuck all the shit. How do you let your goal, your golden goose get plucked? How do you fucking do that?
I think it's also, it's a studio management and cadence thing, right? Like, look how many studios, even if you look at PlayStation, right, and even Nintendo EPD and stuff, PlayStation, Sucker Punch goes from making Sly, and now they're making Ghost, and then Infamous, arguably some of the best games they've made historically. Insomniac on Spider-Man, probably one of the best franchises they've made. I prefer it head and shoulders over Resistance and stuff. Obviously, Guerrilla Games, they went from Killzone. Most of them were a bit ropey. Killzone 2 was really strong, but now they're on Horizon, franchise, which is really well received. Naughty Dog went from Crash, and now they're making Last of Us and Uncharted, and then something even bigger. These studios, PlayStation has taken them, nurtured them, and turned them into powerhouses, right? Some of them are now have casual zeitgeist releases that are outselling even Call of Duty and Madden and stuff on PlayStation 5, right? And if you look at sort of Xbox's acquisitions, they seem to meander. They take Rare, Lionhead Studios, even with the newer ones, what have they done with Ninja Theory and In Exile and all of those? They haven't really contributed much. And even now ABK, you go from the majority of development of Black Ops 6 was under ABK, and now this new release has more Microsoft management. And I'm not just saying it, you guys have played it. I honestly think Black Ops 7, at least the campaign especially, is one of the worst in Call of Duty history. And that's not a good way to say, like, we're under new management now, here's what you get. Like, it just feels like a recurring theme where a lot of studios under Xbox kind of falter or diminish. And whereas Nintendo and PlayStation, they keep raising that bar, and the new IP or whatever that they work on end up being formidable and better than what they moved before. And I genuinely think consumers resonate with that. I just don't think they have the trust, the faith, the confidence in Xbox as a brand anymore.
Yeah, and the other problem, and P-Rock, I'll give you the mic in a second. I just wanted to bring up one of the things. I guess they said at what was it there? GDC did a poll, or they figured something out, and they did some sort of a poll between everything. They said that 20% of the devs are willing to do Xbox games, right? And so like that's a low number. I think they said like 40% said they're looking forward to making games for PlayStation. I was trying to look for. I actually have it somewhere in my notes.
You're right.
Right. So it was 40% were looking forward to making games for PlayStation, 39% for Nintendo, and 20% for Xbox. And listen, that's not a poll that I'm going to sit here and run with. I'm just saying to you that as time progresses and less people buy the console, less independent developers, if you will. I mean, of course, the big wigs want to still make a game for Xbox. I get it. There's still 30 million consoles out there. I get that. But like at the same point in time, you're not going to have a smaller. Every week we see a different smaller dev, and now the devs are going from really, really small to some that are not so small, saying we're skipping Xbox for this game. We'll get to it when we get to it, if we can get to it, and that's detrimental.
Let me ask y'all a question, and I mean, this is just something that I've been thinking about, and I don't have really any evidence supporting this. Just observational. Does everyone here think that Xbox values their IP like PlayStation values theirs or Nintendo values theirs?
No.
Nope.
That's what I'm feeling.
So,
you guys don't have a creative bone in your body. You have no business being video games. These guys see this shit as ones and zeros. None of their plans make sense. Like nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense in their strategy.
That's the thing that I have a problem with. Like if you look at how Nintendo handles anything that comes out that's Mario or Zelda, or if you look at how PlayStation handles anything that comes out that's God of War, you can see that there is a respect for that IP, that it needs to be coming out in its best light when it's being shown. Mm-hmm. And I think Microsoft looks at their IP as a expendable commodity that, okay, if this IP doesn't hit, that's fine. We got 40 more where that comes from, or we can buy 14 more where that comes from. And see, I think fundamentally there might be the source of the issue. Like you're in theory valuing your IP by plastering it all over your box, but at the same time you're showing your IP in probably one of the worst lights ever whenever it's being shown. And I don't see that has never made sense to me on a even on a business level. Like this is the stuff that's generating, is the reason your brand is generating the income that it is, and that's the one thing you're not valuing. Ironically enough.
And so let me say this. I just so I can read it verbatim. I know I had it in my notes here. 20% of developers surveyed by GDC say they want to make games for Xbox Series XS, compared to 40% for PS5 and 39% for Switch 2. This was VGC News. I just wanted to read that because I had the note down, but I didn't have the actual article. There's the article. So I mean, welcome Red Hood. Red, welcome to the show, buddy. That's the only thing, and when it comes down to it, Detzinger, I kind of want to ask you, Detzinger, because I know that you've been diehard for Obsidian, and you've been diehard for a lot of the teams that were picked up. But when you see news like this, and again, I'm not saying we're going to run with this one, because who knows, they polled maybe 100 developers, right, at GDC or something. I'm not saying that's the say all end all. It's not. But to see that number dwindling, that's fearful for folks that are thinking about picking up the hybrid that's coming out or whatever the next console is. So is that detrimental? And I guess, Dessinger, I'll give you part B to the question, which I had written down for you guys too, was, is there going to do you think Xbox will backtrack and not have another console or hybrid? Or no, that's still going to be in the works?
Oh no, that's still going to be in the works. It's just going to be expensive as shit, and it's going to be a bespoke product. Like their Surface line, right? This Surface line is not available everywhere, only available certain locations. You have to buy it straight through, and it's gonna be, they're gonna charge whatever they're gonna charge. They're not gonna sell the next console at a loss or anything. It's gonna be per price. like they're just on a track now where they're kind of done. And we've always known that Microsoft's management is shit. But it's like I like Obsidian. I dig what they're doing because they're doing what they want to do, which is the kind of stuff I like. So I just want them to do that. And it's like I personally want Microsoft to never fucking. When you said, oh, they just let studios do their own. Yeah, please don't put a finger on Obsidian. Just let Obsidian keep doing what they're doing. Don't fucking touch it. And then it's like In Exile is working on something pretty revolutionary for them because it is not in their wheelhouse. So I'm excited how that's turning out, and it looks like they're taking their time and care, which is expected. So like the couple of big studios, bear in mind, a lot of the studios they picked up, I really don't give two shits about. Double Fine, don't care. Half of Bethesda couldn't give a damn. Most of Activision is whatever. It's like the only big sign-ins I actually enjoyed was Obsidian, In Exile, and Undead Labs. Like they were my big three. Like of all their pickups, they're the three I'm most interested in. So
people dropped Arcane quickly. I see.
Well, I mean, Arcane makes good games.
They do.
Then Redfall happened, and I'm like, how? How do you go from like Prey? And you go from
Prey was great.
You go from Dishonored, which is Dishonored 1, fantastic. Death of the Outsider, great. And then Redfall happens. You're like, yeah, Microsoft was behind that one, wasn't it? But you know, it's
the same reason you can make BioWare do a live service game, even though they've never done a fucking game like that before.
I was the mug who was so hyped for that game, and I was like, "Come on, man! They made Dishonored. Why are you guys being like that? All the ponies." I was like, "You pony!" They said, it doesn't look good, Nib." And I'm like, "Bro, look at the pedigree of this studio." And then, and the thing is, I don't do that hate play stuff, right? I really gave it a go. I tried to love it. I played like several hours of it, and it's just like I couldn't do it, bro. It was like the quality just wasn't there. There was so many issues with it. It was so janky and texture popping and all this fucking ridiculousness. And I was like, how does this come out of the studio that made Dishonored 1 and 2? It doesn't make no sense to me. It's like they bloody took their brains out or something. Like, and
here's the problem. Here's the problem, and we've been knowing it for a long time. In that, ever since last generation, Microsoft had yet to get that IP or get that game that can reinvigorate the fan base or even the own internal company. So it became where Nintendo is going to do what they're going to do. They're going to release their Marios and Zeldas, and those games are going to do well. Sony releases their first party games, and they typically do well. And then and so there's always something that is just super positive about those companies when it comes to producing quality software. Microsoft has yet, even all of this generation and half of last generation, they're still trying to trace that. They're chasing that. We need a great game. We need that game. And every game comes out, it's like the whole weight of the world
is on that game.
Falls on his shoulders. Yeah. It's kind of like Starfield. Remember? Starfield is gonna. It's like the whole
now
weight
Fable.
of the company.
Yeah,
and Bethesda was like, wait. You know, we're not used to having a whole company, you know, riding on one IP. Like,
yeah.
And then when Starfield didn't give you what it wanted, then it's like, oh, it's another letdown.
Well,
and then the next game,
I was going to say for
Starfield,
and, like, that's a bit different. That's even Bethesda fans, like heavy hardcore fans that were pushing that game. It wasn't because, like, I can understand what you're saying for Xbox games, right? Like that fan base, but Bethesda fans are entirely different.
Any game, it was the same thing. It doesn't matter what game you choose for Microsoft. The only one that was consistent is Forza Horizon.
Forza, yeah.
But then again, you know, it's always been great, but then most people are like, it's a racing game. It's you know.
I mean, that's been me. I mean,
it consistently sells though like crazy.
It does.
They're focusing on the Horizon games and not the motorsports.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, but you see, it's like it's just they have yet to just put out an IP where it's like, whoa, this is what Microsoft needs. This is what's gonna get people to actually subscribe to Game Pass or go out and buy an Xbox. They just, man, for 15 straight years.
I want to say this when it comes to Microsoft. I don't think they care anymore. As a company, I think They just want their games to sell.
Well, it's because they gave up.
That's
No,
what
they
they're
don't.
doing at
No,
the
they
moment.
don't.
They
They
gave
don't care. They don't care not because they want the games to sell, but to them, and from Microsoft corporate standpoint, whether the game sells or does not sell, Microsoft wins. Because if the game sells, they make money. If the game doesn't sell, they shutter the studio, take the money, and invest it in AI.
Right, but let's break. But Wise, let's break down what you just said. I think you're right to a certain extent. They care, but hear me out. When they bought Mojang, right, and they bought Minecraft, they saw that they could buy something that was already printing money, and they were like, "Wait a minute, this process works." So they went and bought Bethesda, and they went. If you look at it, games like Doom, even though maybe Doom didn't do what they wanted it to do, Doom still did okay, right? But at the same point, you have Starfield, all the new IP, Redfall. Those games didn't meet that. Like Jay said, they didn't meet. They put the whole weight of the show of the whole company on those games, and they didn't deliver to that level. So the new IPs really haven't come out guns blazing. Outer Worlds 2 did not do well at all in sales. Avowed, worse. Right? So the games that were new IP...
Dark Ages is much lower compared to the previous iterations.
That's right.
Well, all of
their games are lower than the previous iterations. It's been a trajectory for quite a long time. People just don't want to admit it, but it's always been there.
Well, I can speak for myself here in this regard. I mean, you guys play a lot of first-person shooters. I do not. I have walked away from almost every Microsoft event casually interested in many games. Like, yeah, I would play it. I'm going to play it. But you know, like that whole, when you get out of a show or a showcase or something, and you're like, oh my God, I wish that game was out today. I wish I could play it now. I've never had that feeling for the whole generation, from the Xbox One
like
to the
only
beginning
game,
of this
the only game that I can say that right now, and I want to see footage, is probably Gears E-Day. Is the game I'm like, I wish that game came out now. I'd like to play it now. But that's also if they make the quality of life changes, which I'm sure a lot of the gearheads are going to say, I don't want those changes. That's fine. I'm not trying to go against the fan base. I would like to see them bring Gears a little bit, the mechanics up a little bit.
Well,
the wall bouncing.
For me, it's Fable. But the scary thing about all this was this: when I saw the Starfield deep dive, I came out of the Starfield. I'm like, oh my God, systems upon systems upon systems, and what they did not say or what they failed to say was what made the game not that good. And see, that's the thing that scares me about Fable. Like, I'm looking forward to Fable. I wish that game was out like yesterday.
What do you think, Red?
But I'm scared. I don't know.
I've been saying this, and Dev's known me for a while. I've said multiple times when it comes to Starfield, if you're like a Bethesda guy or you know about Todd Howard, I don't know why you would hype yourself up over Starfield. Personally, I feel like the comparison between Fable and Starfield is not really a good comparison whatsoever, because Bethesda has always, at this point, ever since, I personally think, since Skyrim, they've been on a downward trajectory. Right, in terms of stripping out features, in terms of writing getting worse, and then hearing about Elder Scrolls 6 and that development process not going so well, right? Because a certain employee was promised to be like the lead. I think Death Singer will know who that person is. And
no, the lead writer for the Skyrim and he was a lead writer for Starfield, and his main argument was that the company is way too big. What made Skyrim and Oblivion and Skyrim was the compactness of the team, that you can go and have lunch with Todd Howard and make changes immediately to the game. Now it's like you have to send emails and talk to a project lead, and it may not be the project lead of person, and it's too big. That's why he left.
But also,
lead writer.
when it comes down to it, I wasn't a big Skyrim fan just because of it started becoming more casualized in terms of everything, right? But when it comes to even their RPG studios, like in Exile, I have no doubt that it's actually going to be really good, and like other RPG like studios in general. Right, and even Fable, I think, to a degree, is going to be better than the next Elder Scrolls game. It's just, I don't know why we would have that comparison, though, between Starfield and Fable, because I always have said this, that Starfield wasn't going to be that great, that it was going to be very shallow, that a lot of the level designs weren't going to be good, and the story is just going to be abysmal. Right? Because at this point, they have not adapted to new RPGs, to like The Witcher or Cyberpunk or any of these like newer RPGs, Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's like now Todd knows, but he at this point thinks that everyone's gonna just flock to his next game because it's the next Elder Scrolls, right?
Yeah, and that's probably.
I do agree, but you left out the big thing about Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing, the pinnacle. How stubborn they are, and how
they think like their formula will always work.
Engine is complete. They need to get rid of that. But it's
and they said that Elder Scrolls will be on that engine. So it's like
exactly, and that's why I'm worried for Elder Scrolls. I'm so worried because it's creation engine. Yeah, it's your next big IP, but like you're right. The lead writer for Starfield is a veteran, right? He was the lead writer on Fallout 3, a good game. Fallout 4, arguably a good game. I mean, think of it what you will, but this guy, he knows how to write. He did Starfield, and it's like your brain's still stuck back when you made Fallout 3. Your brain is just stuck there. Like, this is how an RPG should be, back when Skyrim first released. And to your point, they haven't modernized. Like, you look at something like CD Projekt Red. They started off with Witcher 1, and you're like, Witcher 2... But then Witcher 3, big blowout moment. And then they're like, well, let's do something different. Let's go Cyberpunk. And they went Cyberpunk, and now they're going back to Witcher 4. But it's like
something what would be cool that a lot of studios do, which heavily rumored when talking. Witcher 3 is the new expansion, right? Coming out like sometime in May to bridge the gap between Witcher 4. Hey, you get expansion sales and you get technically a new like marketing campaign to your next game, essentially. Which honestly, Bethesda probably needs it because their development is so long between their games too.
And it's like also with Bethesda, they don't go out of their way. Like say what you will about Obsidian, but if you look at like the variety, like if you go through their games, you're like, well, they're known as the RPG studio, but they also did Grounded 2. They did the Avowed, Outer Worlds, Pillars of Eternity, but they also did Armored Warfare. They did New Vegas. They did Dungeon Siege 3. They did Neverwinter Nights 2. They did South Park Stick of Fucking Truth, which is a great game.
Yeah.
They're Pentiment. Like, they try different things.
That's
They're
right.
not just sticking with the same formula. Like, Pillars of Eternity is a CRPG, whereas these first or third person RPGs trying to go along with the bit of the modern audience expects from an RPG. And in Exile, they're not sticking to their guns. All they made was CRPGs. Now they're trying Clockwork Revolution. Like, they're actually doing something, whereas Bethesda is just like, nope, not trying anything new. Nope, not going to happen. Nope.
So I got a couple super chats here. P-Rock, you'll like this. You're very good friend and mine as well. Danelle Brown, he says, ew, you got that dude P-Rock on the show. Shout out to Danelle Brown. He's just hating on our New York sports, P-Rock. He's hating on our New York sports. Shout out to Danelle. Rob Jones says, what's up, Mooch panel? Xbox died for me years ago. I'm going to actually read something, too, from Fear of the Flesh in the chat. He actually wrote something a moment ago that actually, I think a lot of Xbox fans kind of feel the way he feels right now. Glintzer says, what's the best name for the next Xbox documentary? Kingdom Undone, Dark Sales, Greed Fail, or something else? Glintzer, I will ask the panel that in a second. Who is this now? Glitchy, he says D-Batch owes $100 to P-Rock. Well, I'll let them take care of that on 60 Frames No Lag podcast. Shout out to Glintzer. He goes,
he did that to himself here. You don't remember?
It was here. I know. It was here.
It was here.
It was here.
He did that to himself.
I remember. I do remember.
He does have to pay because I said before that was a stupid thing for him to do. He was just so adamant.
Yeah, I think you were like, I'll take your money if you want to, but you were like, I really don't want to. Yo, shout out to the great D-Batch. When D-Batch is serious, he goes all in. You got to admire people that go all in. You know what I mean? Shout out to D-Batch. Glitzer goes, Microsoft, the Mets. Microsoft is the Mets. Xbox is Bobby Bonilla. Mooch knows. Let's not go there, Glitzer. Let's not go there, okay? I'll see you guys in the NLCS. Anyway, Babor is here. The show can finally start.
At least the Mets won the championship.
Thank you. It's been a minute, but who's counting?
But you got one.
We got one. We got two. Shout out to the great Babor. He says Ragnarok is better than all of Microsoft Studio games. There, Babor will not not be unheard. Shout out to the great Babor. So let me do this. So guys, I do want, and Nib, I don't know, Nib, did you want to add anything? Because I do want to go to P-Rock on another topic. Because it was one of his, it was the week that it was announced. We had P-Rock on the show, and he announced it. I think you said it here first, P-Rock, but maybe you made a video on it. I want to ask him about PSSR 2.0. P-Rock, I told you that this thing had some good vibes coming off of it, right? You had some good people behind it. Mark Cerny coming out again saying something now with AMD and how they're going to make 2.0 this big thing. We're supposed to be getting this update end of February, early March. End of February makes sense for Resident Evil and what we're hearing, and also because Marathon comes out March 5th. But Porter Rock, let's go back in time just slightly to whatever it was, maybe 10 months, 12 months ago, and we said when this thing sees 2.0, 3.0, and what PSSR turns into for PS6, this really could be a game changer. They think they really got something over there at Sony. What do you think? I mean, Resident Evil Requiem is going to be 4K 60. This is on the quality mode. This is not performance mode with full ray tracing. Upwards of 120 frames on performance. 90 to 100, I think, 120, I think I saw. This is impressive numbers, P-Rock, and you know Marathon's going to use it. Where are you on?
Don't forget, Marathon is 5K. On the PS5 Pro.
Jay, thank you for letting us all know and the audience. I appreciate that, J-Dub. J-Dub City, everybody. P-Rock, where are you on PSSR 2.0, buddy?
I'm like Nicola, man, kissing my PS5 Pro.
Shout out to Nick.
You know?
Yeah,
the reality is, you know, and I think we talked about when the first Pro came out, and I said that, you know, I was not impressed with the PS4 Pro at all. I was like, you know, it was just a resolution bug. But when the conversation with PS5 Pro came on and adding this new technology with PSSR, I'm like, now this I could jump on. Because now we're talking about new technology. They're not trying to price it at the same price as the regular PS5. Because I think that was a big conversation, right? What's going to be the cost of the new Pro? And I was saying it has to be at least 600, and that's without the disc drive. Because if it's 500 again, you're not going to get a huge jump. It's just not possible. Right? Launched at 700, which I'm like, okay, that's what you want. More powerful technology, you got to pay for it. So that made sense and stuff, you know. And just like anything else, this was the first console that actually dived into AI upscaling all that technology. And just like anything else, just like DLSS when it was 1.0, you're gonna get improvement. So it's good that like just a little over a year, you know, we're looking at PSSR 2.0, and it's huge improvement gaming and stuff like that. Like hearing Resident Evil 9. Or Requiem, right? At 4K 60 with full ray tracing, and that's quality mode. That's exactly what we wanted. We wanted the console to have the quality mode of the PS5, but with the performance 60 frames. Like we didn't want to choose no more. We didn't want to go. Do I go quality at 30 or do I go lower resolutions, no ray tracing at 60? You know, we're done with that. You know, and that's the whole purpose behind the Pro, and is doing that. So with PSSR 2.0, I expect great things, you know. Looking forward to it. You know, I'm glad that a lot of the rumors and conversations seems like, you know, about releasing it early this year, it looks like it's coming true. I honestly thought it was going to be more like May or April, but the fact that it looks like it's ready by the end of February, you know, just in time for a Marathon and other games, hey, that's great. You know, that is absolutely great. Great piece of technology and stuff. You know, me personally, I think the PS5 Pro is probably the main reason to extend the gen a little bit more. I don't think we need a PS6 at this point in time. You know, anytime soon.
That's interesting.
So that's just me.
And I have no problem combining the two topics because they kind of go hand in hand. If you're going to start getting 4K and you're going to start getting performances in the 120 frame rate or 60 locked on 4K in quality mode, that's the next evolution of console that a lot of people have been asking for. And here it is. Maybe it's coming in PSSR 2.0. What do you guys think about this? You know, Nib or Jay or Death or Red, anybody want to chime in? I think that this is something that's really I think this could extend the PS5's lifespan into, I don't think, some people are saying 2030. I say pump the brakes. I think that if they were ever going to think 2027, which was never a dream, I think you're talking 28, maybe 29, the longest. I don't think you're going to 30.
It really just depends on the AI.
Yeah,
that's the big thing. You see it with like components like RAM and even like GPUs and GPU manufacturers like Nvidia. prioritizing AI. So that is a big question, and depending if they can get things cheaper as a result, right? So because like a lot of people don't realize like RAM is also used for the GPU, right? So VRAM and all that stuff. So that'll make that expensive along with regular RAM and all that. So honestly, I think the gen will be prolonged as much as it's needed. Overall, like you think about it, there's a lot of cross-gen games throughout this generation, more so than any other generation.
But you know,
So
Red,
I don't think a lot of consumers are
Red. You know, the one thing that
generation.
so first of all, I think a lot of consumers are probably in your camp. I think they agree with what you just said. I will say this much: when people are like, "Well, we have to wait for prices to come back down," has anybody looked at prices of anything else? Like, you know, if you go, and I don't have this all written down to a T, but if you go back to like 2014, a large cheese pizza was $12. Okay, now it's $20. And don't tell me. All right,
like 30 now.
Let's start, right? P-Rock, it's like maybe it's 25.
Think about it like this, right?
I think it's like
I
a haircut's $35.
Yeah, who you telling?
what
Who
are
you
we doing?
telling?
That ain't going down.
It ain't going down.
So let's talk my RAM, right, in my PC.
Right.
I got that back in 2023, right?
Yes.
This RAM in my PC, 64 gigs.
Yes.
6,000 megahertz, right? That was like about $200, $300. Now it's over $1,000
Oh my God, yeah.
sitting in my PC,
My God.
right? So that's a pretty substantial jump.
Listen, don't say that too out loud. People are gonna try to find your address. Like, relax, dog.
That's like saying you
don't be bragging.
Hey, P-Rock, that's like having a third kidney in Vegas.
Okay, that is a huge jump in price.
They're coming for you now.
Actually, to Red's point, my RAM's even more exclusive. I only have 32 gigs, but it's made by Crucial, who have stopped making RAM altogether. So I own RAM from a company that no longer does the shit anymore. So
actually, that might be more valuable. That might be like $2
grand. More valuable. Yeah, it's Crucial RAM.
Somebody's about to go to the UK. It's cheaper to fly to the UK, take his RAM, than to buy the RAM outright.
Facts. Yes.
But the whole point is, it is a huge jump, right? And
yes.
Consoles are they don't also have that luxury either. Like just like PC component, it's like granted, console manufacturers like Sony, Xbox, they'll buy stuff in bulk, right? And then it becomes cheaper. But even then, it's still going to be expensive, and that's like a problem that these console manufacturers are looking at. Is like if we put it out a little bit early and have it expensive, like are people going to adopt it? Like I think the hardcore consumers will buy, right? I think the Portage J-Dub Blaze, right? They'll buy it immediately.
Yes.
Even though it's like a very high price. But when it comes to the average consumer, when they see that type of price point, they'll just be like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll be sticking with my PS5, right? And then it'll be an even longer cross-gen for that, right? So
here's the real question.
Wait.
Here's a real question, man. It's for everybody. It's 2026. We're in our 6th year of this gen. Does it feel like we're in year 6?
No.
Well, no, because it's a lot of cross-gen games. That's what I've been saying.
Yeah, it feels like we're really getting it going, right? So, like, part of a new console generation is to fill that need or that potential mass consumer need of getting a new console to introduce new technology, new hardware. What new games, new possibilities that new hardware brings. And I'll be honest, I don't think anybody's looking for that. I think more people now are just looking for consistency with stability with the games and quality control and a higher output of games being made. I don't think there's really anybody that's like, man, I need to see the next generation batch of games and stuff like that. Like, I don't think that's a need that people are having right now. I think right now people just want more consistent output of titles, like, so get the development process shorter. Get the quality games launched day one. They want quality games day one. So none of this, we could patch it over the next 2-3 months. Have your games quality right out the gate and more consistent stability. I think that's what gamers want. New games, quality, stability. I don't think anybody's looking at the next forward leap in graphics and technology other than a small, minute hardcore guys who are tech enthusiasts.
Yeah.
But I think the general audience, I honestly think that if somebody wants a little bit better upgrade, the PS5 Pro is the answer. And
Well,
I think the PS5 Pro can go out to 2030. I honestly think it can go out to 2030, and people will be fine.
There's something to be said for that.
Because
People will be fine.
PSSR will get better, and that'll help carry the load. Like the upscaling is like the DLSS is a game changer, and if they can get it into the same shape as DLSS, which everyone should want PSSR to get to the point of DLSS. Like on par, everyone wants FSR to get to the point of DLSS because
it's getting close. I would say FSR, but not yet though. But it's gotten way better.
It has gone way better, but I want it to the point because if SSR equals DLSS, right, I would just go with an AMD GPU at that point. I'll be like, sure, yeah, it's cheaper than the NVIDIA option, and it's better in rasterization, and it gives me everything that DLSS has. And I don't use ray tracing, so who cares? But it's like I compare FSR to DLSS, and I'm like, well, DLSS still does things better. So hopefully, if PSSR can do it and get to that point, that will carry the PS5 Pro till 2030 easily. Because then, go on.
So I think you noticed this too, right? With DLSS 4.5, right? Granted, there's a little bit of a con, right, with older GPUs, like there's a performance hit, right? But with the 5000 series GPU, like you're playing on performance, it literally looks like quality, basically, right?
Oh, it does.
So, like, I think that's like everyone's hope is we don't even have to really choose, right? Like the same thing, and that we're like, okay, the graphical fidelity for performance looks exactly like quality, and I get more performance out of the games, right? So
that should be the dream of consoles, and they should get that absolutely because it's benefiting everyone. Because if console games get to that point, then like these features become standard, and then all games developed, even if they're games like coming from the console to PC, they'll already be fully feature parity, or close to. So then it's just a super smooth transition because everything's there. Because it's games will be like you look at Requiem, and it's like what they're doing is like, okay, you're outputting 4K, but you look 120 FPS, and you're like, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, let's get it. Every game should 120 FPS. Why not? Why not? Like, just do it for the gamers because they're going to enjoy it.
I'll tell you right now,
a game at 120 FPS versus a game at like 60. Oh, you could tell it.
You know who's salivating? You know who's salivating for PSSR 2 to come out? Digital Foundry. They're like, we're back.
Oh,
we are back. I mean, they are legitimately going to be looking at every game under a microscope, right?
Especially if it's applied to the back titles, because that's what really people want. They're hoping that PSSR 2.0 can improve like some of the like Silent Hill, maybe Metal Gear Solid Delta, some of the games that didn't fare so well with PSSR. See how 2.0 improves those games as well, and Digital Foundry's gonna.
The dream though is I wish developers, and you've noticed this with Delta Snake Eater. Granted, that game looks great, right? Don't get me wrong. I think visually it looks like a really great looking game, but I've noticed developers, and this is the same thing with PC, is they don't fully optimize their game because they can rely on DLSS, FSR, or heck, consoles with PSSR, right? And that's the one thing I hope doesn't continuously happen, and they actually like optimize it, because like Monster Hunter, their new game, was poorly optimized.
Right.
I know on PC it was. I think on PlayStation and Xbox wasn't the best either. But now supposedly they fixed it.
They supposedly fixed it. I heard. Yep.
On PC, and I don't know about consoles because I don't play on it. But that's the hope is that their games are well optimized, and that you get a huge boost in performance with upscaling with DLSS, PSSR, or FSR.
The thing is, it's like, Digital Foundry is going to eat for like the next 4 years off 2.0 when that releases, right? Their funding is locked. They're like, good, for the next few years, we are solid. We could drop a video a week about 2.0 and we're done. Like, sorted. But it's, to Red Hood's point, is I agree. You notice this, devs rely a lot on like DLSS and whatnot to get their games over the line, because you look at performance, and you're like, yeah, the performance ain't really there. And then they're like, oh yeah, but if you use DLSS and frame gen, and it's like, yeah, but no, I shouldn't have to do that. But they are getting a bit lazy, because it's like the Monster Hunter Wilds thing is crazy, because that one guy, not dev, found the glitch where it keeps checking for the DLC. And then they turn around and finally fix it, and it's like, some random dude on the internet found your problem. You're a massive ass studio getting paid thousands a year, hundreds of thousands a year, and you couldn't solve this. You have probably like a couple of thousand people at your studio or whatever. Well, you couldn't find this. It took some random dude on the internet to have a dig into your game. Like, come on, fucking, and you want to sit there and go, oh well, we're doing the. Come on.
After podcasting with that singer for so long, I figured out if I ever want to open up, which believe me, it is difficult to have a successful developing team, right? We all know that startup team. I would just go hire like all the mods. I would just go like, anybody want a job? Right? I mean, that's what you tell me. You're like, these guys fix games. Right?
Look, Starfield. Starfield released without DLSS and FSR, and the modders were like, "Fine, we'll do it ourselves. Fuck you." And it's like, you're getting paid for this. These people are just doing it because of their love of gaming,
right?
And it's like,
that's when
stop being so lazy.
when people say, you do what you love, and the pride in what you do shows in the quality. You just nailed it, that singer. I think a lot of times that's the thing. It feels like a lot of games are forced these days, and I'm telling you, the mods put so much TLC into it. But let me say, so here's P-Rock. I got to ask you this, and Andy Hart, thank you. I started to type this, and then I stopped, and I forgot what I was going to write. This is a fantastic question, and I have the answer. But this is going to stop what you guys were saying might be the longevity of this generation. Andy Hart says, is the base PS5 not capable of running PSSR 2.0? To my recollection, P-Rock, the base PS5 cannot run PSSR.
No.
Well, that's a bit of a problem, because right now the numbers that came out recently are that 13% of the PS5s out there are pros. 13. 1-3. Yeah. That's low.
Yeah.
So
wait.
That's about in line with the PS4 Pro.
No. Whoa. So Jay, I know you guys know this, and I know I'm going to take the firing squad for this, and that's fine. I don't mean to say that's poor on Sony's part. That's not a good number right now for people saying, hey, let this generation, PSSR 2 is here to save us. This generation can go to 2030. You've got only 13% that can handle PSSR 2.0. Do you see what I'm saying? So
no. I get it. But here's the overall picture. You have to look at it, right?
Right.
Majority of the people were always going to have the base model.
That's right.
That was always.
That's right.
That was true last generation.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be true this generation, and that's just it's insane for people to expect for a large majority to go out and spend $700 on a console.
I hear you.
When Sony's really trying to get they're out there screaming, hey, you PS4 owners, get the hell out of there. Come over to PS5.
That's right.
They're trying to, so it's just $399 versus, $700-800. You're never going to do that, right? That's equivalent to saying this new Xbox or whatever PC that's going to be $1,200, that the majority of Xbox guys are going to buy it. That's never going to be the case. Majority of the people who bought the Xbox bought the Series S, not the X. That's just it's an economical thing, right?
That's right.
Now, it was good to see that Sony projection, right? Because they said, I think before the Pro even came out, that they projected the PS5 Pro to do on par with the PS4 Pro did, which was roughly 13%.
And they nailed it.
And that's right in line.
That's right.
But the PS4 Pro, when it came out, it was Porter Rock $399, and the PS5 Pro is fucking $700.
Yeah,
$700-800. So you gotta kind of take that.
No, Jay,
keep in mind.
Your numbers are right.
I think the numbers are going to go. It's not going to go by much. I don't think it's going to be like 20-30% or anything like that. But I think once GTA and stuff like that comes out, I think it's going to be a no-brainer that those Xbox guys and those PC guys are going to go ahead and pick up Pros over the Slims, specifically for stuff like that. And I think this is that year. They'll be lucky to get 15, 16%.
Well,
that's just
we'll see. So, but again, now my question doesn't come. I agree with what you just said right there, especially with the adaptation of GTA 6, right, coming out.
Yeah.
But to go back to the subject we were kind of teetering on just a second ago is the PS5 generation going to be elongated? Is that going to go to 2030? And a lot of us on the
will.
Look
at the PS4.
Yeah,
and that console. Let's be honest. We seen how Mooch. We seen how
PS4 did 7 years though. P-Rock.
But we seen how the PS4 and Xbox One launched on the technological level. It wasn't impressive.
That's right.
It really wasn't.
That's correct.
We all could agree on that, right? Regardless of who had the better launch or whatever, movies, or Indie Station, all that nonsense. From a technological perspective, the conversation of a PS4 hardware and Xbox One hardware was short.
Yes.
It didn't even last a year because it was not. It was Jaguar cores.
Yep.
30 frames. It wasn't a lot.
That's right.
It was already outdated right from launch, right?
Yes.
So the technology conversation died like real quick because nobody really cared about it because both consoles wasn't really that technologically advanced. And yet here we are, PS4 still kicking.
Yeah.
It's 2026.
That's a good,
it's 13 years, bro.
Yeah,
it's 13 years. So if the PS4 can like even today, people are saying today in 2026, can we finally move on from PS4? 13 years later. So if PS4 could stick around and be an annoyance for 13 years, imagine the PS5 that actually does 60 frames. There's only like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 games that don't have a performance mode out of the thousands. Yeah. So PS5, lots of people. So we have to realize this: even if you release a console in, let's say 2020, PS6, how many people are going to say my PS5 does 60 frames? I'm good. I don't need to buy a new console.
Especially a Pro owner.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
You see what I'm saying?
The Pro, I would say, like with the current generation, the biggest sticking point is the image quality, right?
Yeah.
When on a base PS5, you go with a 60 frames mode or a Series X, shit looks like doo-doo. It's so low resolution, smeary, and like just blurry and cack. At some points, it's running lower resolution than 2 decades ago, right? And FSR is not really up to snuff. Neither is TXAA or any of the other sort of like sampling situations. So if PS5 Pro can remedy that with the FSR 4 PSSR update, I do think that in itself will give it longer legs, right? I mean, we've only just bloody got past like cross-gen. So, like maybe there could be. Me personally, like I don't mind the elongated generation because I feel like we haven't got enough current gen only titles.
Yeah.
And the PS5 Pro came out 1 year later than the PS4 Pro did, or even more than that. And it's a higher price as well. So I don't want to be stiffed out of, paying a higher premium, which has a lower shelf life. I actually don't mind if they keep supporting it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I think let me say this, Mooch. I think if the PS6 came out, like you said, in 2027, we're going to buy it because we're tech enthusiasts with the hardcore. But we're not buying it because we're ready to move on from the PS5.
That's what I'm saying? Yeah, let me just say,
that's the main difference.
I do not want it in 2027.
We're just doing it because it exists. But let's say if the PS5 doesn't exist until 2029, 2030, would you be that upset?
No. No. But wait.
Like if you give the Pro more,
but there's an asterisk.
The Pro more mature time.
Yes.
Like 2.5.
Yes.
PSSR 3.0.
Correct.
You'll be fine.
That's correct.
I think you will be fine with improved. I think we will all be fine unless we want 8K gaming. If we started like that,
let's stop.
We got that now, though. We got that now.
You got that now. I didn't buy no damn 8K TV.
I was just gonna say an 8K TV is gonna cost you about $50,000.
Get out of here.
Depending on if you get like a 75-inch. Yeah.
I think the true enthusiasts for technology will be fine with the Pro. I think the people who don't get the Pro are already telling you, we don't want no power. We want more consistent quality games.
Yes.
More consistent in quality control.
Yes.
And rock solid 60 FPS. And I think people are more than happy.
That's right.
I think the PS5 console launched so well that I don't think people are going to have a problem with a 2029, 2030 PS6 gen. I don't think people are going to have a problem with that.
Yeah,
I think everybody's happy. And if somebody really, really has a problem, I think they'll go for the Pro. If somebody on PS5 says, "Man, I have my PS5 Pro since 2013. I want something new," go get the Pro.
I get
PSSR 2.5 or some shit.
I'm going to piggyback off what you're saying, P-Rock. We were saying this over the holiday when the Pro actually dropped $50. It was on sale. I think it was for sale for $649 here, at least in the States. Yeah. And we were like, listen, I don't like to tell people. I say it all the time. That's not the one thing I like. I'm not going to tell you go spend your money. But I said, if you're in that market right now and you're upgrading right now from a PS4, go get that Pro.
Oh,
go get the Pro. Don't.
I know you didn't like it, but I made a video. I told people, listen, if you are still on a PS4, right, that means you're not a day one adopter.
Right.
You're not an early adopting of technology.
That's all right.
Get the Pro because that's going to last you longer into the PS6 gen.
100%.
You're not going to get the PS6 at launch, clearly. So just get the PS5 Pro, and you will have the most powerful console, and it will have longer legs. You're going to get better technology. You're going to get just better performance. Just skip the PS5. You waited 5 years. You might as well get the Pro, and that will last you really, really long time. Especially for the type of gamer that really maxes out how long you're on a console. Mm-hmm. You're really gonna max out the PS5 Pro longevity easily.
Easily. And shout out to Moonshot. Moonshot with a great memory. He says P-Rock was here last summer saying that the generation should be extended, and looks like he was right. I agree. This gen should be extended. Shout out to Andy Hardy. Comes back again. He goes, I was wondering this. He's the one that asked about the PS5 not being capable, the base PS5 not being capable of PSSR. He says, I was wondering because thought software update, or is it a chip in the PS5 Pro? It's hardware. Red, it is a hardware item, is it not?
What, for PSSR?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just developing strictly for the hardware, right? So, like, give you an example, 4.5 for DLSS, right?
Yep.
Granted, it's going to work on older hardware, but people notice that there's kind of like a performance hit. Whereas the 5000 series GPU like benefits greatly with DLSS 4.5. So, but they made PSSR specifically for that hardware.
For the Pro, right? So you have to have the Pro hardware.
It has a 300
machine learning
8 integer. It literally has a hardware block.
That's what I thought. It had something hardware related
specifically for AI processing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, so I don't think, and P-Rock was like, do you think anyone's going to have a problem prolonging this generation? I think the answer is no. And that's because, like you said, shout out, I guess we're going to combine a bunch of topics here. WWE 2K26 won't be available for the first time on PS4 and Xbox One. We can finally say goodbye to, right? So
yeah, but now we get to see Triple H on the cover. Let me stop there. I got a lot of complaints about Triple H. I call him Triple Fraud at this point.
Triple fraud.
Go ahead. Jay, were you gonna say something? Who's chiming in right now?
I was just gonna say, even though they're dropping the when that happens, it's not necessarily that the version that they're making that's next gen only is going to look better or play any better. That just means that they're dropping the support for the old one, and that's because it's 2K. It doesn't matter,
right?
If Madden dropped the PS4 and Xbox One version of Madden or whatever, that didn't all of a sudden make Madden look better or play better.
That's true.
They just, and I think sometimes we get it in our head because they're supporting two generations, the old hardware, that they're kind of holding back on the current gen. And a lot of times, especially with these third party developers, they don't care. They're doing whatever they want to do.
The formula works, and listen, I know
the formula is there,
right? And Jay, that's my concern too. So I believe this year's Black Ops 7 that was available on PS4 and Xbox One, was it not?
That's correct.
Yeah. I believe so. So my whole thing is I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback what you just said. So the point of the matter is, even if next year's Call of Duty isn't like this formula, like I understand they had a bit of a setback this year, but if they don't do a copy paste, give us some new maps, something new to the game, they're probably not going to change it that much.
It's going to be the exact same.
Very similar.
Those are annual games,
right? That's right.
Games, so you're not seeing
those
that
annual
much
games.
huge
That's
shift.
just what that is.
Some annual games.
Mm-hmm.
Not like before.
So
I say it like this: one of the biggest reasons I'm an advocate for 2030, because I think the biggest thing, besides, I did mention quality control and all that stuff.
Yes.
But I think they need more time to figure out how to get development back in the 2-4 year cycle, because this 4 to 6 year cycle just doesn't work. There's no point in releasing a new generation that lasts 7 years.
Thank you.
It takes you 4 to 6 years to make one game. The math doesn't work.
No.
They should focus on that quality and that pipeline. Like how can you get back to AAA development in the 2 to 4 year cycle? Work on those tools. Work on all that asset. Work on everything in your studio that could get you back to the 2 to 4 year window. Because this 4 to 6 years is not going to work. And God help us if it turns to 5 to 7.
Oh God, don't.
Because 6 to 8.
You take
focus on that.
I'm trying to think now. I had the name. I was thinking a moment ago. Amy, who was working for Naughty Dog before, they kind of went their separate ways. Amy Hennig, yes. So I'm just sitting here thinking to myself as the generation goes on. You guys know I do. I love Naughty Dog. I know a lot of people are so they're very, very polarized and very both sides of the coin on Naughty Dog. But you take Amy Hennig, and if the relationship kind of severed a little bit better than it did, and you take a team. And Amy's the one that did a lot of writing for Uncharted. And if they could have kept Uncharted coming out, so imagine you had Intergalactic that the main team was working on, and you had Amy taking the other parts of the team and running with an adaptation to an Uncharted, so that Naughty Dog had 2 of those games coming out. And you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to say, like what P-Rock's saying. There's a way. I don't sit in those boardrooms. The guys on this panel right now don't sit in these boardrooms. So just to think off the fly, there's ways to make it so, like P-Rock said, you can do 4-year cycles, maybe 2 years with certain smaller games, but still a AAA output, right? That's the thing. It benefits the gamer because we get more games. No shit, right? But it also benefits the companies. Now they're making 2 or 3 or 4x the output. It's a win-win. Go ahead, Dessinger.
Here's the thing. It's like you look at games with long dev cycles. Now, you can poo-poo as much as you want on something like, I don't know. Let's take Outer Worlds 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, 4 years or whatever, but then you look at a game that took 8 years to develop, and you're like, look at all this. But the thing is, it's like, they have an expectation of a kind of quality that they set, like, ages ago. Like, for example, Naughty Dog's next game, would you prefer them to only take 3 years or 4 years to make their next game? Because I guarantee you it won't be up to the quality of the
exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's not going to be the same quality. So of course, all the fans are going to go, "What the fuck are you doing? This is an expectation. Your game better be this." So they are now forced into a 6-year dev cycle because the fans will go, "What is this? This ain't like." So I think they're forced into it now, and a lot of the studios that haven't caved into that, like other smaller studios who could do like a 3-year or 4-year, it's like they're getting it, but you're never getting back to that cycle. You're never getting multiple games. Like you're lucky to get one game from a studio. Like think of how many couple of PlayStation studios, they haven't even released a game this gen yet. They haven't even released one, and we're 6 years in?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, 5 years.
5 years? It's like Days Gone.
Wait.
They,
2020.
It'll be 6 years.
Well, yeah, they haven't released the game because the game they tried to release, they canceled it. And guess what? They started a new project,
That's
and
right.
we're not going to see that for 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Exactly. What I mean by 5 to 6 years is not an arbitrary.
True.
Yeah. So what I mean by going back to the 2 to 4 year cycle is not arbitrarily just cut time. It's to develop processes, tools, equipment.
Develop a game designed
like
right.
Pretty much do what you normally do in a 6-year game, but you get to do it in 2 to 4 years because whether it's through AI or through new development tool sets, like focus on a tool set that can advance a lot of processes that would normally take you. It normally takes me a year and a half to animate this. Well, now I got to reduce down to 7 months. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but go through the flow of the studio. Yeah, go through the flow of the studio and how to get all these things that normally would take you a total of 6 years to get a game out. How can you get it down to 2 to 4 years through, some type of optimization processes? I'm not saying just cut 2 years just to cut 2 years. Get the stuff done because they have to. Because listen, if we already ballooned to 4 to 6 years, then we're gonna balloon to 5 to 7.
I mean,
And then we're gonna balloon to, and then at that point, you know, when a game takes 9 years to make, we're still gonna want consoles every 7 years. You see what I'm saying?
AI is currently like, you see the people trying to use AI to help their workload, an instant backlash, like bang. Like, people don't want this, even though it'll help. Like, shout out to Larian, right? They want to use it to help limit.
No, they were forced to not use it at all.
And you saw the backlash they got, and people like, oh, we don't want generative AI in the game. Well, if you want your 6 years down to 4 years, like you want using AI, they're gonna have to use shit like that in order to get that time down to save on time. But of course, the current fan base doesn't want that. So now you're gonna be having backlash from your own fans, because as soon as you mention, oh, we used AI to help streamline the process, it's done.
You know, I wonder. Yeah, you wonder how much.
I'll say this: you release a good game.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, the fan base is not gonna.
That's what I was.
Themselves.
P-Rock, I was just gonna say that.
Look at Hogwarts.
I'm gonna say yes and no.
Look how much backlash Hogwarts got, and when the game came out, ain't nobody give a damn about.
No. But my thing is, Larian made like a Game of the Year game, right, with Baldur's Gate.
Right.
Still got backlash for mentioning AI use. So
but you know, talk on Twitter. The question is, if they made another great Baldur's Gate level game, people are not going to buy it all of a sudden.
We talked about digital when we were going to lose our physical sales when we were going from 360 to the PS4 and Xbox One. Like, they're taking our physical away, and everybody was so upset. Now everyone's like,
that's a good comparison, Mooch, because it did affect the Xbox One at that point. You know, with the DRM and all that stuff, right? At that point,
but that's my point. No, but that's my point. It's just the talking point for that period of time. Now everyone that was saying that about DRM was like, Game Pass. And now, right? You didn't. Not only did you not own it, you rented it.
Remember loot crates?
Right. It says loot crates. Yeah, you can't do that. And now everyone's like, now we just do the same thing, but in terms of like an ARC, we're buying skins every Tuesday with a different backpack. All right. So my point being is the AI thing now, I think, is an argument. Is it going to be an argument in 5-6 years when games are developed just using that? That's the way it is. I mean, everybody at work right now is using ChatGPT. Like, ask anybody. Like, Red, don't worry about it. Just take your bullet points and put it in ChatGPT, and it'll give you the whole spreadsheet. Right. So
that's what I say. Like,
but then that same person who uses person who uses that ChatGPT,
you could create a whole PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, and that same person who uses that.
You don't want to spend 3 hours. doing shapes and stuff?
Right.
I'm getting my shit done in 10 minutes.
Right. And then everyone that does that.
I'm sorry.
Everyone that does that, P-Rock, then they're like, yeah, thank God for ChatGPT. Then they pick up their phone and they're like, how dare you, Larian Studios? You know what I mean? It's like, come on. So shout out to Bespoke.
I think the main thing is,
what do you got?
I think the main thing is because of how many people jump into the conversation. We know we have people on the internet that jump into conversations without actually researching. So you get an overwhelming of misinformation and people are just mad.
Yep.
I understand the in terms of gaming, people don't want art to be copied or made by AI. I kind of get that, right?
I
get that. Absolutely, I get that.
You know what I'm saying? But let's put it this way. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? They don't want things like that, right? But if you could get AI, right, to, let's say, for example, do a complete quality control scan of the game, and the AI tells the developer, hey, wait a minute, this is off, this is off, this is off, you got to fix this, this, or you're going to launch a game broken, and the developer does that, and then when the game launches, it launches great. And then the developer tells you, hey, because of AI, it literally told us what was going to happen if we launched this game in this state. So instead of waiting for you guys to tell us, oh, this is broken, AI told us, and we fixed it, and now you got a day one great game. Who's going to argue that? I want my broken games. What? Get out of here. I mean, you better ChatGPT the shit out of these games if I could get day one quality games. Gemini, Grok, use who you got to use. If I get day one great playing games, optimized, and you tell me AI did that, you better Grok the shit out of that game then.
I mean, to be fair, though,
the shit out of it.
I will say AAA gaming's quality control right now is in the shitter anyway. So, I mean, AI probably won't be able to save that because there's still humans creating the work, and they're still going to be the usual dog shit. I'm sure AI will probably help, but I'm sure games will still come up unoptimized messes because engines exist, like fundamentally a game engine could be absolutely dog shit. Shout out to Creation Engine, and people still make games on it, and AI would not save the Creation Engine. So like it's gonna be what it's gonna be at that point. So I think,
but but let's say this, because I can't say too much, but let's say this: AI has the potential to help you improve your intentions, right? For example, Creation Engine, right? And you have a certain AI, large language model, and you say, hey, Creation Engine is actually supposed to do this. And based on all the knowledge of game development, whatever, AI looks at it, well, if this is your intention for Creation Engine, then you need to code it and fix these stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get your result with this engine based on this. So right off the bat, your Creation Engine is getting improved because AI is helping you, because you have all these codes, and AI is able to scan it all, and like, you put in your inputs and you tell AI, this is what I'm looking for, and this is the reason why we make Creation Engine. And then AI is like, well, based on what you're telling me, you got to fix all this. You're never going to get this result. And they're like, okay, cool. Now you fix your engine, because AI is assisting you going through these huge, immense lines of code. And now you're improving Creation Engine, right? AI is, I can't tell you why I know that. But I can't say this. I forgot. There was this author. He was on a TED Talk. I forgot his name. He said that AI is the most dangerous weapon man has ever created, right? Because unlike any weapon we created, and he said weapon specifically.
He's right.
He says the reason why, when we created the atom bomb, or we created the tank, or we created, the battleship, those things cannot improve themselves. They are they are.
This can improve on itself.
He says AI can look at itself and say, you know what? I'm not good enough. I'm going to do this.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So that lets you know AI can improve programming.
Extremely dangerous.
If you write it that way. It could look at itself and be like, you didn't make me good enough. Yeah, I'm going to do this. And here's the thing. I'm going to tell you, and this is public, so I'm not even going to lie. So there was an article, maybe I think it was like a year and a half ago, and it, like, maybe not among you guys, but in the military community, people thought AI killed an actual military member, because there was an article that came out that said AI killed airmen during a training exercise. And it was a bait article, but what really happened was the Air Force was doing a training exercise, logically, not like an actual airplane or anything. They created a simulation. They were training the AI to fly this plane. Now, the operator, the actual airman, he was giving rules to the AI, because what they were trying to do, they were coaching the AI in ethics and moral engagement. That was the main thing, right? It wasn't just, so it was giving these parameters like, hey, you need to engage this target, destroy this target, and accomplish the mission. So the AI would do it. It would explain what it did, accomplish the mission, but the airman was like, incorrect. This is not the way to do it. Try it again. It was giving all these parameters. So it was coaching and training over and over and over, and it was just like hours and hours of coaching, training this eye, so that way, because the main thing is, it was training the ethics and morals of being a pilot. But at a certain point, something happened. So the AI engaged the mission, but it said it destroyed the operator, and then it went to engage its target and destroy the target. And the operator's like, this thing destroyed me. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, hey. And so he asked the AI, why did you destroy me? The AI said, because you're the objective you're the thing that's stopping me from completing my objective.
You're in the way.
So I gotta get rid of you for me to do my job.
Right.
Boy, that put the Air Force in a like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
Like even the military, because I remember I heard this in the Marine Corps, everybody's looking like, what the fuck? Like, this thing decided to like, yo, I'm sick of your shit. Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm going to eliminate.
When you think about it, AI emotionally said, listen,
it's
bro,
dangerous.
You're just a pain in the ass. I take you out. I'm good.
It's a crazy.
And everybody's like, oh, shit. That wasn't trained. It was not trained to do that. No one said you had the boundary to make a decision like that. AI eventually decided, man, this airman is just a pain in the ass. Yeah. I'm gonna kill you, and now I could do my mission. You see
who's the guy that made
AI could do some
who's the guy
crazy
that did
shit? So like,
who was the guy that did Terminator? Was it James Cameron?
Yes.
James Cameron has come out multiple times, and he goes, "I know I'll be laughed at," but he said literally when AI stories come out, he's like, "I really did write a movie that literally going to take place. Maybe it's 100 years from now. Maybe he goes, it's a documentary.
He's like, holy shit.
He's like, you guys are going down that line. So let me real quick. I get this really.
Hold up, but
go ahead.
To break it back down to gaming, I think AI can be advanced to the point where it can help with your programming. It can help with UE5. It's supposed to do this, and then it'll be like, all right, let me take a look at it. Blah 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 blah. This is where your problem's at. This is why you can't get what you're looking for. Right? Fix the tools, fix the pipelines, optimize the pipelines and stuff like that. I think it could get there with AI. That now, of course, just like any tool, it could be abused. We don't want to see people losing their jobs.
Right,
we don't want to see artists not getting. We don't want to see the musicians not doing musician things anymore. You know what I'm saying? I get that. I get, it's a fine balance between, the ethical, moral obligations and then also doing right by actual people to make sure they keep their jobs. So I get that balance because we don't want the entire, the music staff to completely dissolved and just let AI create music, right? Even though it can't create music, because the truth is AI just copies. Even if it's just one small note, it just compiles a billion small notes into music, and that's the music it create. But it didn't actually create it through creativity. It just copied little things and just made it all together. So I understand why that is unethical.
So hold on a second, Dessinger, before you go, I got some I got some great super chats here. I want to say shout out to Bespoke ! Thank you so much for that amazing super chat, buddy. The super chat's working. It's a miracle. I appreciate that, man. Don't get a lot of those on the channel. I really do appreciate it. A console gen takes years to plan. He says devs are already deep in development, making PS6 launch window exclusives. You aren't going to sit on a complete game for 1 to 2 years. Sony has contracts that have been signed. Hey, he goes, hey, nerds, hit the like button. Yo, shout out to you, Bespoke ! I really appreciate that. Thank you. And please hit the like button, everybody. 357 people here. I'd love to see 357 likes. That'd be fantastic. And I'm going to get to the other super chats in a second. But go ahead, Jay or Dev.
That doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter is because those games are going to be cross-gen anyway. They'll just release it on PS5, and then whenever the PS6 drops, they'll just do what they normally do and just release that version. There is nothing forcing them to do anything. Let's stop it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like we've seen it with the PS5 gen. It's like I don't understand why we're thinking that there's gonna be an actual exclusive game for specifically the PS5. Even the third-party games. Like, listen, I love Capcom, right? I remember when Resident Evil 4 came out and Jedi Survivor came out, and it was like for PlayStation 5 and Xbox. And then like months later or a year later, we're releasing this on the PS4. It's like, so it wasn't really current gen then.
Also, it's like to that point you have stuff like Cyberpunk, but what Porter Rock was on about is like AI. See, I have the problem is now I know these publishers and whatnot, they're going to see the money and go, well, if we could cut down the dev time, well, how about we start having AI writing quests? How about we start having the AI doing dialogue? Let's start having the AI doing these things to speed up, because the sooner we get a game out, the sooner we make the money, and we don't need to hire humans to do this particular thing.
That's where I say no, right? Like, ideas,
I agree. You can't stop it though. You can't stop it.
But you have to write it, right?
Yeah, you can't stop it. The moment
I agree with that. Like I said, that's the unethical side where you fire people, you fire the illustrators, you get rid of the musicians, the composers. I agree.
Yeah,
there's a fine line to that.
I agree
given it's capitalism, you don't think these publishers and devs are going to start looking at that, going, "Well, we could save money here. We could save
absolutely."
money."
I think like certain publishers.
I think it's more the publishers, not so much the devs. The publishers,
publishers,
But the devs ain't going to screw themselves over, but the publishers, the suits, almost definitely.
How do we know, right? With the annual Madden, the annual 2K, the annual WWE, and all of them, odd. How do we know they haven't? All those layoffs they got AI, bro. We don't know that. We don't know that. Do you guys hold on? Do you guys remember? I forgot what Madden it was, but it had the assets from the previous year. So when you zoom into the stands, you could see it said like Madden 2023, even though it was year.
It was Madden 2021 that had 2019 stadium.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like don't tell me like AI, like those guys wouldn't have AI to do that shit. It's the same game. They're not changing anything.
I don't think that's even AI. I think they literally just used the same stadium.
Just really
and forgot to change the number.
Like, yo, let's just
They literally forgot to change the number.
Yeah, they just don't care. They don't care.
They're
gonna
going
get
certain publishers will do that. Other publishers that.
EA definitely will. Activision,
Well, EA
Ubisoft
got
will.
bought, so I don't like whoever their owners are. Like they'll either enforce it or not.
The thing is, it's like the annual games will definitely be if they probably are slightly AI done now, but they will definitely be full AI. Like you're gonna see layoffs at EA and stuff. FIFA studios.
Yeah,
They're like,
especially for those games.
Yeah, like we really don't need you on the payroll. We could save so much money. Fuck, get out. And it's like that is my biggest concern. Is games that start. AI could it write a decent quest in an RPG? Potentially, it could because it can draw on all the good things in fantasy and stuff across the internet and across time and pull it together and maybe write a good quest. But at the same time, it could write something completely horseshit. And it completely ruins the game.
That doesn't make sense.
An actual creative mind behind the quest,
I will say I don't think the Japanese publishers do that personally.
Oh yeah, I think. Actually, I mean, the way they treat the anime industry, I don't know. I mean,
I don't think so. Listen. Who was the one Amazon that used AI dubbing? It's not going to be like that. Like in terms of like.
Okay.
But Amazon don't care. They had to back how bad it was. But I don't see Japanese publishers enforcing it, but very much so I can see American publishers.
The publishers, yeah, and it's you can clearly see that. I mean, developers don't want that because developers work hand in hand with the graphic designers, the artists, the musicians. And some of them clamor to get some of the best musicians and the best artists. So they definitely don't. But the problem is when the publishers are funding, they're the ones that are funneling you that money. And they're like, listen, you're going to do this, this, and this. And I don't think they would I think they would hide behind the curtain. And they're not going to say use AI. They're going to go, we're cutting your budget down by this. And then you're forcing the developer's hand in that instance, I think. Do you see what I'm saying? I wonder if they're not going to come out openly and say do that. But it's kind of like when Porter Rock was saying they have to sit down and figure out how can they do 1 to 2 games and make it beneficial and still make it affordable. That's a very hard Rubik's Cube to solve, especially when you have something sitting there right there like music and art that AI, you would just type it in and it comes up. That's going to be a very challenging thing for developers moving forward. And P-Rock gave an example with the military. There's examples out there with... Listen, it's not just developers and artists, by the way. This is going to affect everybody out there. Doctors. Do you know how much AI is being used out in the medical community? A lot of the surgeries you guys are having out there that are just day-to-day, outpatient stuff is by robotics. It's AI and robotics. You're getting your gallbladder removed. A lot of times the doctor's just watching from a window waving to you. I mean, they're overlooking you, but they're just waving to you, So there's a lot going on in different respected areas. It's not just in gaming. AI is threatening a lot of our jobs, So it is a very, I take it very serious. And Porter Rock's example was extremely serious. And like I said, you have James Cameron coming out on X every once in a while being like, I wrote this. I wrote the ending. No one's listening. Okay, I'll go back. He's like, I'll go back to Avatar. But, right? He's like, maybe you guys will watch this instead. Shout out to Glintzer. He says, we were talking about these topics a few moments ago. He says, sounds like PC prices will give PS5 Pro a boost. So, yeah, I mean, as these prices like that Red was giving examples and Death Singer was giving examples for RAM that continue to creep higher and higher, especially as the need for AI and that demand is there. Yeah, I mean, a powerful console and we were laughing at $699. When you're talking about Red, you were giving an example of what you had, and what, was it your RAM? What did you say it was that hit almost $1,000 now?
No, it's
$1,000.
It's definitely over $1,000. But no, I bought it back in 2023. Like that was about $200, $300.
And now you said it's over $1,000, right?
That is sold that. Wow,
that's crazy. $1,000, So I'm just saying, $699 doesn't sound that wild anymore.
The crazy part is this: you already bought it, so you're good. But what happens if, let's say, your RAM by accident, maybe over voltage, and your RAM just gets corrupted or breaks? What do you do now to get it back? You have to pay $1,000 to get the same thing you have now.
Yes, but I think the company I have, I can just send it to them and they fix it.
You got to hook up.
No. They actually have a good
I don't have a hookup like that, P-Rock.
That's good. That's a good
So
warranty.
they have some companies have good warranties, so like I would just give it to them, and they would just.
I will tell you this: so Red Hood has it better than me because my warranty is worth fuck all now because my company ain't gonna let it around no more.
The Crucial ad doesn't exist, so who are you gonna get a warranty from? Crucial brand is done, but so whoever put out the PS5, that's a great thing. But I think it comes down to Sony recognizing that, because if they don't push it, then it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not something like we see it, but we're the hardcore. We can see, we're like professional chess players. We can see 5 moves ahead. But the average consumer, unless Sony does something, to really make that marketing campaign, like, something, whether you do it like, something that mentions like, hey, with the high cost of PC gaming, blah, 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 you got a great option, the PS5 Pro. Like, they have to take advantage of that, because if they don't say nothing, then it's not going to happen. It's not going to be a grassroots thing. They have to take the lead and take advantage of them. Like me, I would be like, listen, like, I know we're all about this PC port a year later, but the environment changed. Do-it-yourself PC is getting expensive. We're seeing PC companies canceling orders and then putting the product back up at a markup of $800. PC is getting very, very expensive, and now you're gonna have people gonna be like, "Man, I can't afford a PC that was once $900, $800. Now it costs $1,800 or something like that, or $1,600." Even if it's not a lot, but if it's more than what you normally get, I would make a marketing campaign to be like, "Hey, the affordable option to upgrade into gaming is a PS5 Pro." But Sony's going to have to do that. That's on them. That's on whether they want to do that or not. I would, because I would take advantage of this market.
The thing is, it's like, despite the costing, it's like Steam numbers just keep going up. Like, they've been going up for like the past 12 years. They just constantly go up. They keep hitting new heights. So more and more people are getting into PC gaming, and I'm assuming they're getting in with lower end rigs. Not obviously super expensive, but again, unlike console, PC is very much what do you want out of this PC? Build it to that specification, and your price will be X. There isn't like a set price. With console, the PS5 Pro will be whatever the price is, and I'll be the same for everyone across the board, and you all have the same experience. So it's really good in that way. But also, it's like, I think they want to delay. They should delay, because the new RAM prices, that's going to affect the PS6. Like, the PS6, you thought it was going to be 600 with the RAM prices they are now.
I was checking SSDs and all sorts now is going up. Even literally the SSD I have in my PS5 right now is like $100 more expensive now. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
like,
everything's going up, man.
Everything's going up, yeah. So like, I think like, no, carry on.
No, I think what you're gonna say, Nib, is like, I think personally they should just ride it. I think these console manufacturers should just ride it until things get more affordable, because it's like I keep mentioning is, yes, console manufacturers will buy things in bulk, right? Will buy whatever they need in terms of bulk. That'll be a discount, right? Because of their deals with like AMD and all that, right? And then whoever they have for RAM, right? And SSDs too. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be more expensive for them, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think PC is going to have the toughest time.
Go ahead, Jada.
Yeah, PC is going to have the toughest time, because the cost of a PC and its components is already vastly more expensive. Just the entry, right? We've seen graphics card like double and triple in price within like 2 weeks time. It's so, granted, hopefully this stuff come down in time, but if it doesn't,
the only time it's going to come down in time is the AI bubble pops.
Yes,
is when it's going to come down in price.
Yeah, because right now it's a mass absorption of resources, the AI, because there's a huge push for building AI data centers. So they're just buying up everything. But once the data centers are built, the demand is going to go down. And then at that point, you have all these people making, RAM and all that stuff, but now the demand from the AI is not there no more, and that's when the price is going to go back down because now you have a shitload of SSDs and RAM chips, but the AI is not buying it up in the same amount as they were because the buildup. That's what's happening. It's the buildup.
Yeah.
So they're taking everything because they want to have these things ready to go within a year or two. So they're just gobbling it up, building up their servers, building up their data centers. But once it's built, now you're talking about sustainment.
Right.
Sustainment is not as resource heavy as buildup. Now it's nominal. Now it's like, okay, we don't need that many RAM chips other than replacements and repair, which is a lot less than actual build and creation. And now you have, the companies who created so many RAM chips, and they're like, wait a minute. The demand for RAM chips from the AI world dropped like 80% because now they don't need as much. All they need is enough for repair and replacement. So now they're going to go back to the consumer level market. But the question is, how long is that going to take? I would say maybe 3-4 years. You know what I'm saying? Depending how fast these data centers get built. Really, once the data centers and the AI bubble gets to nominal maintenance phase and sustainment because everything's built, that's when everything's going to drop. So however long that takes. How long will AI get into the sustainment state? Or like you said, the bubble could just burst and this shit could all flop. And then they just shut down the whole program, or at least the scale of the program altogether, which would really put these companies that make like Micron they're really big a pickle because now they have a shitload of RAM and hardly anyone to sell to, which will benefit us though.
Oh yeah,
we get $30 RAM. We got $32 RAM once again.
Yeah, right.
I'll buy your RAM for $50.
Bring it back.
Because also the scarcity was the issue too. Because that's
another thing.
Is certain RAM companies that we used to sell directly to consumers and other avenues of business. Now they're like, nope, we're not selling directly to consumers. We are just going to the AI business, which you're like, oh dang,
like crucial.
And then now you're like, oh dang. So now
that's
we're just like less options and more people.
Well, the thing with AI, the thing with AI is you saw Satya. He's begging people to interact with AI. People really aren't using AI like that, and they're betting big on AI. And he was even like, yo, we need people to start interacting with AI. And it's like, so the bubble might pop sooner than people think.
Yeah, it's only like being used for businesses in reality, right? Not the average consumers are not really using AI like crazy like people think. So it's
but it's
like I think most of us we in our homes when we use AI, it's either maybe something paperworkish, like something write like write up an email or help me formally write out. Like this is what I want to say.
Formally write.
I'm using the shit out of it for my resume. It's a great tool to optimize my resume with the actual thing, right? I used it for school, for research and shit like that, right? But I'm not using it. I might ask, a couple of things like, hey, I'm trying to work on this project, but I'm not using it. So like, I'm trying to turn on the lights and shit. Like I haven't made my house fully AI took over and stuff like that, right? And I think most of us we're using AI, but not in the most intensive business. Like I'm not gonna have 60 frames no lag ran by AI.
Right, but we're still in the but P-Rock, remember we're still in the infancy of it. You know what I mean? Like people think
well, I mean to P-Rock's point though, I use AI. Like I just told Grok to write me a eulogy for Highguard. And
Death Singer's always got to come back. You wonder why he's Death Singer. You guys understand why?
That's funny.
He carries,
but also Grok is great for memes as well. So shout out to Grok. That's all I use it for is memes and.
But don't forget that, Singer. So I'm glad you said that. Right now, people use AI for memes and things like P-Rock was just giving an example for, right? Like resumes, things like that. But do you remember when the iPhone first came out in 2007? Remember that the apps that were on there? They had the peanut butter jelly time app. They had the thing that was a beer that would fill up, and when you turned the phone, because it had a gyro, and it would actually show the beer like you were pouring it out. It was all these goofy things. Then it turned into banking, your security system, your life, right? So we went from the peanut butter and jelly app okay, that sang to you, right? And the beer that would disappear when you tilted the phone, remember? Now we got our life on there. So we are going to go from memes and resumes to what P-Rock was saying, war, and then we're going to go to jobs, and we're going to go to doctors and lawyers and engineers and everything in the world that was in the game of life. Okay, that is all going to get affected the same way that people laughed at phones. You guys go back and watch the 2007 when the iPhone came out. People were like, that'll never catch on. You know what I mean? It's like, look where we are. So my point being is AI is the next, that's that next evolution. We can sit here and fight, or we can try to control it, right? And that's what P-Rock, your story is probably the best, right? And shout out to, I do want to say shout out to Shattered Glasses Super Chat. He literally says here, or pardon me, it was I am Henry 66. I'll get the Shattered Glasses. He says, shout out to P-Rock.
Shout out to Henry.
Yeah, Henry goes, shout out to P-Rock for bringing up overlooked points on AI. It's a great tool, but it needs more ethical guidelines. And shout out to the Crossfire gang. I appreciate you, Henry. And that's true. You know, P-Rock, I think your story really hits home. I ain't gonna lie. So, like, that's the thing. You know, I always say that we're just using it for fun, but I'm like, eventually it's going to be used for. You even saw Tesla had the. I understand that I think some of it was staged a bit, but it wasn't all staged when they had the robots that you can buy for. They were saying you'll have a robot in your house just like Detroit Become Human for $30,000. It'll do your lawn, it'll do your laundry, it'll do your dishes, right? It'll pick up the kids, it'll do whatever you want it to do, right? This crazy shit. If you think we're that far away from that. We're not. We're probably like 20 years, maybe 25 years. I don't know if it'll be perfection, but it's down the road. You know, we're seeing glimpses of it, but you know, I'm just saying it's out there. Shout out also to Shattered Glass. He says, is Xbox in decline? Seriously, due to Xbox's Sega. Shout out to Shattered Glass. I appreciate that. Babor is here again. J-Dub, this was for you, J-Dub, when we were talking about how games really don't change too much, especially when we're talking third party, right? You gave Madden as an example. Babor does not agree. He says, not true. EAFC has a gameplay physics change every year with a lot of animations added annually, so the core gameplay changes yearly. No new modes, though. All right,
as someone
Jay,
who buys and
dog.
pays
I would believe that. I would believe that from any
Stop
other
the
company
cap.
but EA.
right?
Like,
Stop the cap.
EA, really?
Thing is, I buy FC every year. I am one of those people.
I buy it every year.
Okay, yeah, you're in Europe. Is that true?
Yeah, I
No,
play
it's not
FC, and I tell you what, that game is the same fucking thing every
It's
year.
the same
Of
shit.
course it is. Of course it
Same
is.
shit.
It's EA. It's EA, man.
That's all
It's like
called
what games out yearly. What do you expect?
And there's no competition.
They have a
Like if
6-month development
Singer, if you
time.
don't play football club, then what you got?
Well, exactly. Here's the thing, though.
That's
Their biggest selling points were, we changed one thing in career mode that turned up being worse than what it was before. But then they also go, we've added the women's league. Okay, cool, that's great. And then they give you some shitty little game mode when all the people do who play FIFA, they just play FIFA Ultimate Team and spend billions on the game. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Like they don't actually
They
interact.
do American
with the game.
football. Madden every team. Yeah, that's all it is. Ultimate team.
Yeah, that's
Ultimate
all it
teams.
is.
NBA 2K is my player. That's all it is. MLB The Show is the same thing. That's all it is. Repetitive. Like, to be honest, these sports games should just be, like live service games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And just send the updates.
That's
at that point.
Yeah, but you know what though?
But they make so much money.
But they make money from that $70 sell.
They're double dipping because they're going to get your $70. They're going to get your $70, and they're still going to get your in-game currency, right?
Yep.
So they're double dipping every year. That's why I'm saying it all the time. The double dip works. I've been saying it for how long on this show? My God, right? I'm telling you right now, it does. It works.
It's like a chicken nugget and McDonald's barbecue sauce. Yes, after I took a bite of the chicken nugget,
and
I'm
dip
dipping it
again. Yes,
I'm
you
gonna
will.
get more sauce.
You bet your ass.
I'm that guy.
And if I gotta go, I'll go back up to the counter and get another bucket of sauce too. I don't care. Okay. Yo, shout out to Babor. He says, Singer, Steam's your baby daddy. Too much praise. Babor, he just doesn't like your praise for Steam, Death Singer.
I thing is, it's like when you have the most consumer-friendly store and the store that gives you probably the best features of any store available, and it is so pro-consumer and it so respects your time and money. How can you not love a store like that doesn't extortion. Like, doesn't rip you off, doesn't like, oh, sorry, you can't refund the game because you downloaded it. What kind of horseshit is that? What kind of
I give it that. Like those consumer protection stuff. Steam is the best at it.
like
You can literally play the game.
Wait, I
and
gotta
still
know
refund it.
what's the hate on Dustin for liking Steam? I like Steam too. I'm not gonna.
I think it's
a lot of games.
Red. Nib, you want to
along with my family plan? Holy bro, like 3,000 games on that thing.
Exactly.
My family.
Okay, note to self: become part of Red Hood 420's family. All right, noted. All right, there we go.
There's initiation along with that.
Red's gonna wonder why the DMs are lighting up in the morning. All right, Red, listen, I gotta tell you, we got a great one here from Mariko. He says, the highlight of my AI experience is getting them to play Kiss, Marry, Kill with each other. Responses were great. Also responding to what the other AI said about them was also hilarious. So, Mariko playing a little bit of a trick on his own AI. That's nothing wrong with that. But Boris says, for someone that plays a ton of FIFA, not true. That's probably the politest thing he's written in a while. That's fantastic, Babor. That was very polite.
I agree to disagree, even though it's
Listen, I just don't trust EA. You telling me EA is every year I don't see it.
Well,
hell, they found a way to sell Madden twice. They just call it college football.
Yeah.
Actually,
I would say EA is so shady. They found a way to sell the same game twice because they call it college football now.
Yep.
Check this out. Rumor on the street is FC 27 is going to be an open world game now. Ooh, they changed up something. I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw that.
Open world.
Open world exploration FIFA. Yeah.
So now you have to take a plane and fly from Spain to England. What do you got to do in this?
I don't know what you're doing. Well, it's the same thing.
I know to us it may seem like FIFA. To me, it literally looks like it's the same game every year, right? But the cousins who play religiously, like they literally every fucking Christmas, every birthday, every occasion, they all have tournaments and stuff. Put your name on a piece of paper in the hat, and everyone draws teams and stuff. They're like from one year to the next, they'll literally be like, "Oh, it's trash this year. Plays completely different this year. This is completely different this year." Like the way they talk about it is like it's fundamentally different. So maybe it's like in the nuances of gameplay, right? Maybe like if they, the throw balls and volleys and stuff, if they just change the flow or certain thing, dribbling is maybe stronger or whatever, maybe those micro things can actually change the feel of the game quite a lot.
They sped up the animation.
Yeah, so I know what you're talking about because they do the same thing in Madden, but the thing is what they do is they for example, they implement, now we have the hit stick. Like, so when you tackle, you use your thumbstick and you hit them in a direction, whatever. Then they take it away, for the next team. Now, fundamentally. But then they bring it back 5 years later. Oh, we got this new thing, the hit stick. Like, wait a minute.
You're like, what?
That shit was like 9 years ago. they have the same fundamental thing, but they change it a little bit and they take it away. And then years later, they put it back.
Right.
And they're like, that's all they do. They just keep going back and forth. This year we got gang tackle animation now. Now the real feel of 3 people beating the shit out of you. You're like, what?
Yeah. No, but
get out of here.
Can I say this though? I want to say this. I think I've come to this realization that if people think there is true change to a game that even though doesn't have change, hey man, let them get their money stolen.
It's a placebo. It's a placebo.
No, it's totally fine. You save them, bro. Every time you tell them no, they're gonna do it anyway. So you'll be like, go ahead. Let them steal your $70.
But again, we're saying that from not playing those games, right? So I don't mind knocking games, but again, we got to speak from experience. So we're not FIFA players, so we're looking at.
But here's the thing:
I'm a FIFA player.
I'm not a FIFA player. But I know EA well, because like I said, I play Madden. I used to play when they had basketball, NBA Live. So Nib, they literally selling the same game just because they named it. They literally sell Madden in college football. It's the same game.
No, I understand.
They have the nerve to sell. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a company now. I get it. I don't play FIFA. But out of all the games, you're telling me FIFA is the one annual game that's different, and it's not even just
No, I'm
EA.
not saying that.
All of them
To
do
me, it
that.
looks the
Even
same.
Sony's MLB The Show, it's the same
everything.
regurgitated game.
Yeah.
Every year. NBA 2K, the same regurgitated game. You
I
know,
do
so
think
for me to
any
hear that
annual game
FIFA is the
any
now of
annual
FC.
But
To hear Football Club is the one-off out of all the annual games, I'm like highly unlikely. Highly unlikely.
No, but again,
when
you
every
hear,
single
like-
other game, to include EA's own games, you know, are the same.
No, I understand that.
you
But
know,
again, if a player
yeah.
can literally say this year, I don't enjoy FIFA because it's too attacking forward, whereas previously it was more defensive. Again, obviously we look at the assets, the characters, the graphics, the engine,
And we
it's
think it
so
looks similar.
right?
Yeah.
But that minor change, just going from more defensive or attacking forward, could fundamentally change how it plays. Like as in the competitive nature of it. Like it can go from one person loving the previous year's release to hating the next release, and vice versa.
There's some. Yeah. There's a couple.
Yeah, but that's like I said. That's similar to Madden. The same thing happened to Madden. Some games I remember one year it was a very run-heavy game. Like the running plays was like the most dominant, especially with Derrick Henry or specific running back. You were dominating, but then the following year it was a more pass.
Yeah, it's more
heavy game,
pass
and like the run game was shit.
That's right.
So those, but the thing is, even that goes back and forth every year. So even that becomes repetitive, right? Like when I was playing Madden, I'm sure the football comes the same. Like if there was one year it was very defensive, you hated. I guarantee if you go back 4 or 5 years, you probably went through that. That wasn't your first time experiencing a very defensive season. It just goes back and forth.
But which is your favorite ever Madden game?
My favorite ever Madden game? You know why? It's been so long, I can't remember. None of them this year. None of them over the last 5 years. None of them.
Dude, that's the point I was going to make. I don't think anyone actually enjoys the yearly releases like that, and it's like a love-hate relationship, and they think the next game's gonna fix
there's
everything.
no option.
And
There's
then
no
they're like, and then when they buy it, they're like, oh, it didn't fix anything. It's the same thing with Call of Duty. It's
I was just that was what I was gonna say. Call of Duty. People who don't
2005. You know what? Glitz is right.
But think about it.
2005. Yes.
So wait. So
2005 and 07.
Let me
two
say.
best Maddens.
I will say
how
this.
long ago that was.
I will say to back up what Red Hood was saying. I was just about to say that, Red Hood. So applaud you on this one for saying it first. But like someone like Babor who plays FIFA, and he just said I play FIFA. It plays different every year. For someone like Babor who might not play Call of Duty, and Babor, I'm putting you on the spot. I'm not saying you may play Call of Duty. For someone like him who doesn't, he may go, I don't see any. How could you have liked 3 years ago's version of Call of Duty and not this year? It looks exactly the same, right? But but anyone who's been playing Call of Duty knows year to year, there's a difference.
Minute changes.
There's minute changes in the gunplay.
I love last year's. I hate this year's.
Right, same.
Like
They go, but the thing is, they
Same.
keep going back and forth, right? So it's like,
No, I noticed their
So you know what I'm
stances
saying?
always change too. They're like, well, I did like, what is it? World War II, right? Even though I remember when it got released, a lot of
I
people didn't
remember
really
that.
Oh, you mean World at
People
War?
used to hate
The one on
World at War.
World at War. Are you talking about the one that was on
I
360?
remember. I think it was like Sledgehammer that made it. Sledgehammer made a World War II game, if I remember.
Yeah, there was one that came out. There was the World War II one that came out like what was it? Four or five of them ago. It was this generation. It was.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. I don't remember that.
You know the funny thing about this conversation, right? Is so cool. You remember I mentioned last week on the show, 8,400 people are credited as working on Black Ops 7. It's like 8,400, and it's probably in the region of about $1 billion to make. Cold War in the FTC leaks, literally factually was 700 million development cost. Right, so these games that we're saying, they didn't do anything. They literally cost $1 billion, and
but how many of it's like marketing though?
No, I
pure
think
development.
Cost.
Is it pure development?
Yeah.
Because how did it balloon that high? I think it's marketing.
I don't know. I don't even know. It's crazy.
It's probably
right?
the amount of people have working on the title.
It was Call of Duty World War II released in 2017.
That's the
So
one.
it wasn't this
But,
generation. My bad.
I was going to say on the FIFA thing, the thing is, it's like, it really doesn't matter what they do campaign gameplay-wise, because that's what I mainly play, is career mode. Because at the end of the day, most people who buy FC, and this is a fact, they'll skip career mode. They'll skip online play. They'll go straight to FIFA Ultimate Team and start spending money and buying packs.
That's all the sports.
So they can get the gold Cristiano Ronaldo, throw it up for a 98 rated. And even then, Ultimate Team isn't balanced because people will have these, spend thousands on these teams and then go online and just dominate everyone, and everyone else is there like, oh, now I got to spend money to keep up with them. And that's all it is. Like career mode, they could do 0 changes. No one's really going to notice because everyone's just playing an Ultimate Team anyway. That's where the money is.
Yeah.
So it's like, as long as Ultimate Team is good, career mode, okay, like for FIFA 26, they claimed they made a whole bunch of changes. When I played it, I was like, the same AI errors are there. Like a goalkeeper, my goalkeeper, I got him up to 99 rated, right? He's in there, and a super easy shot goes through, and I'm like, that's supposed to be the best keeper in the game. And that just happened, and the AI is really fucking wonky. And there are tons of problems. Like, I don't know what they do over there altogether, but they make all these promises and under-deliver. But the one thing they do deliver on is FIFA Ultimate Team. I can guarantee you that. That shit's going to be fire day one.
So Andy Hart says 2K. See, these are the things that we always hear a lot of gamers say. Andy says 2K needs NFL license again. I still love and play NFL 2K4, 2K5 through emulation. I think a lot of times we always say that, but like, Andy, don't get me wrong, that might be a better version of it. It might be, but eventually that'll get stale because that'll be the same thing over and over again if they get the contract. But Boris has played all FIFA ever since 1997 or since 97. Every year it changes. But Boris is not going to let that one down.
Oh, man.
No, I feel like my cousins would
EA's never been the Chargers. It was between NBA. I remember EA has what? I remember they had NBA Live, NHL, whatchamacallit, also with Madden.
Yeah.
Now college football, they brought it back. So I don't,
NHL is the same thing. That hasn't changed in forever, too.
2K, WWE, and then with Sony's own MLB The Show, to me to say that FIFA's the one outlier that does it different than anybody, I can't see that happening.
Hey, Red,
I don't see that. Hey, no way.
Red.
That's cap for me.
Red.
FIFA's the one outlier, especially from EA. Yeah.
Yo, Red. Was it Red that asked Porter Rock what his favorite Madden was? Red, was that you?
No, that was not me.
That was not you. Okay, I don't remember who. Maybe it was Nib.
But I remember 2005 and 2007.
Well, here's
I look back. And somebody reminded me in the chat, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah. 2005, 2007, and that's because they added 2 new things.
Yeah, I can see online most people are voting FIFA 17 and FIFA 14. I don't know why specifically, but those are the 2 most popular.
Well, it's because they were absolutely amazing. The FIFA back then, like FIFA in like 15, 16, 17, 14, it was peak. It was peak. Like, it was perfection.
I mean, they stole Pez's Thunder, right? Pro Evolution Soccer's Thunder.
Yeah, like
that's kind of experience.
Oh yeah. I remember that for Konami, right?
Yeah, correct.
But the thing is, FIFA back then was just pinnacle. Career mode, fantastic. Online play, fantastic. Everything was just great, and then they end up in this state where they are now. It's the same shit that happened to Activision and Call of Duty.
Right.
Think about it. You had like Black Ops 2, you had Black Ops 1, you had Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2. Call of Duty is the best it's ever been, and now we're where we are today with Black Ops 7. Like, I mean,
Deathsinger, how is EA's FC? Is it the same as FIFA, just a different name? Have they made?
It's because
they lost the license.
They lost the license, right?
They just lost the license.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was just the license, just the name.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is still FIFA, but they lost the license. So.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't think it was lost. I think EA didn't want it because FIFA was doing something, and EA's like,
they were charging too much. $1 billion.
And EA's like, screw this. We could just do our own thing.
Yeah, but how do they maintain do their own thing and keep all the players' names in the associations? How do they do that without FIFA?
Because now because there is no player association It's not the same way as.
Oh, it's not like MLB. Okay.
No, so that's why they call it football club, because now they're directly dealing with the clubs.
Yeah,
But I do have a question on
Because
that.
remember,
Maybe that's
FIFA is the world tournament for FIFA, but they don't have to necessarily control the club championships and
But
like the
why
European
wasn't
League championships. That's all different.
But why wasn't Pro Evolution Soccer allowed to use people's teams and names? But why is EA Sports?
Because EA had the license, and then say right now they could, if they had the money, they definitely could get the FIFA license.
Oh yeah.
No, but what I mean is they still have team names.
No. So because pretty much he was asking while EA had FIFA, how come Pro Evolution didn't do their own football club? Comes down to money.
No. What I mean is FIFA bought the license, right? So they could have all the teams, and Pro Evo didn't. But right now, EA
bought the license to the FIFA so they can have all the kits, all the clubs, right?
Oh, okay. So they bought not the FIFA name, but they bought the licenses.
It's the same thing with so take FIFA 26, right? For example, AC Milan, Inter Milan, they're both big Italian clubs, right? But because they couldn't get the license, they had to call them Milano FC and Lombardia FC.
Because I don't play FIFA, so I don't know.
But Lazio is Latium, and Atalanta is Bergamo Calcio, because they can't get the license for the club, so they have to come up with a name and then do it de facto. Because it's the same thing with racing games, right? Racing games, when you're developing a game, you have to go to Ferrari, you have to go to Ford, you have to go to
Porsche.
And you know how some games don't have a Porsche? Because Porsche won't allow them.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at GTA. They got all the copycats.
All because they don't want to pay the money that it would cost.
That's wild, man. That is what. Shout out to Willie.
I think GTA, the brands just might not want to be associated with all the debauchery.
Right. Shout out to Willie Gamer. He says Pro Evolution Soccer 4 was and still is the GOAT.
The king. Yep.
There you go. You got 2 votes. Dexter, are you signing off on that?
I was never a Pro Evo Soccer fan. I was always a FIFA.
Wait, you and Willie? Wait. J-Dub, Willie and Dessinger not agreeing? Get out of here.
Look, Pez was always.
Shout out to Willie.
Pez was always the better game.
That's wild.
It just didn't have the license.
I was told it's more simulation-y.
Yeah, it was objectively better at the time. I mean, when we got around to like FIFA 14 and above, though, like between FIFA 14 and 16, FIFA was peak.
Yeah, but by that time, Konami, had already started going downhill and trying to get out of gaming. So.
Well,
so while we're on the soccer, what is it? Malignant or got it or whatever. I can't say it all the time, but anyways, he says if you want to play a good soccer game, play Rematch. Anyone want to? So Blaze, shout out to Blaze 4K again. Blaze was giving me some shit. He's like, Mooch, you gotta play Rematch. Like he's like, you just gotta experience it. It's a great game. I have not played it. Is it worth? Is that worth?
It is so worth it. Like we played it all the time in the Discord when it launched. Like Blaze was in there.
Is there still a good group playing it though, Death Singer? And I don't mean just the Discord, but I mean it has a community.
It still has a community because it is an excellent, like just pure soccer game, and it's just really really fun. Like it's quick, it's really fun, it's to the point. Obviously, it's not a full 11v11 like a full football game. It's more like a sporty mode, but it is really really fun. It's kind of like Rocket League, except without cars.
Yo, Hero Down Under says it is totally not
NFL
soccer.
Blitz? You know how they made NFL more arcade?
Yes, it's more arcadey. Yeah.
Or NBA Jams.
The way the ball reacts and you can launch it across it reminds me of Rocket League.
Yeah.
Like just the way you hit the ball.
So is it more arcadey then?
Yes.
Yeah, it's way more arcade.
Okay. Yes.
It's
Marco says Mooch Rematch was made by the same guys.
Soccer cars.
Yeah, you exactly. Yo, shout out to you remember that? Yo, that was so great. By the way,
I can't believe people want PlayStation for soccer cars.
Why do you want to play? Why do you want to hit a soccer ball with a bumper? Jay, yo, shout out.
This doesn't make sense.
Yo, P-Rock, shout shout out to
that game became huge.
It was huge. Shout out to Southbound and Down when he went to like the Game Awards one year, and he was like, they were like, and now they said Rocket League, and there was people. He said in the theater yelling soccer cars. I was like, hey, we reached people. People are listening. So, shout out to soccer cars, man.
That was hilarious.
Yo, listen, if anyone's listening out there, make a game called Soccer Cars and just get the physics from Rocket League. You'll make $1 million tomorrow. All right, listen. I only want 10. Just give me 10%. Just give me 10%. 5%. Nonetheless, guys, here's what I'm saying. We're a little over 3 hours now. Tonight was a fantastic episode. I was telling Jay and the guys before, I'm a little under the weather, but these guys kept me prepped up, feeling fantastic. So I just want to say shout out to this amazing panel, the great chat. Thank you guys for the super chats too. I appreciate all of them. You guys are fantastic. I try to keep the show to about 3 hours. That's about 2 hours short for Porter Rock's liking these days. So that's all right.
Oh my God.
Shout out to P Rock over. Check out 60 Frames No Leg podcast as well, guys.
Wait, Mooch, let me just ask
Please.
for one. I love to elongate these
Nib,
things.
I was just gonna say. So I do that outro so that we have the 30-minute buffer for Nib. Go ahead, Nib.
Yeah, let me just ask. Look, we were talking about quality and Xbox, and the way things are declining for them. But this year in particular, I know we say this every year, but genuinely, it does look like one of their strongest games. Do you think, now that we've seen a bit more of Forza Horizon 6 and Fable, obviously we haven't seen E-Day, do you think this could actually be the year where they genuinely have a competition stake in the Game of the Year awards?
That's a great question. So basically to shrink that question down, with the lineup we know currently from Xbox Studios 2026,
what you've seen of Fable, is what you've seen of, does it give you that? Because when you see Last of Us 2 or whatever, Last of Us for the first time, it's one of those games.
Correct.
Right? It's one of those.
No, I would say no.
Game of the Year
but I do want to have an asterisk. So my answer is no for Fable, but I have to have an asterisk. Anyone who's been listening to me for the past decade plus knows I've never been a Fable fan. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. So I'm not even going to enter my vote there. But from what I saw, no. Not in 2026. This is a stacked year.
I say we got to give Microsoft baby steps, right? Because Naughty Dog didn't start becoming the Game of the Year, winning studio right from the jump. They went through their good game phase, to build up their reputation with Crash Bandicoot, right, and stuff like that. Crash Team Racing, couple of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then they started dipping into the Uncharted. But remember, the first Uncharted wasn't like the blowout Game of the Year across the board. It was the second one. Right, and then they got the third one out, and then The Last of Us. So they built that reputation over time. I think that's where Microsoft's at right now. I think right now the most realistic thing for them is to come out with great games, and then start building those studios' reputation into the GOTY levels.
But then
right
look
now,
at Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Zero Dawn. They were like new IPs from those studios, very different from what they've done before, and both were, hella successful.
But they got their licks. Killzone, let's not lie. Killzone was getting thrashed. Killzone 1 came out, got thrashed. Killzone 2 was good, but then they got Killzone 3 kind of downgraded, and then Shadowfall was trash. Right, and then Sucker Punch, they were building reputation. Remember, that's like Koopa. Infamous was good, but Infamous wasn't Game of the Year breakout, but it was a good game.
But do you not think Playground has built enough reputation? Are you saying it's not enough then, what they've done?
Well, Playground, I think the thing with Playground is, and this is all right, I'm gonna sound a little biased, but they were making racing games, man. Like, come on. It wasn't even an original racing game. It was like, let's take Forza and do it open world. So it wasn't even an original
I
concept.
can say
I think that is
very
selling it
similar
short.
situation when it came to Guerrilla. Guerrilla only made first-person shooters, right? So then they made Horizon, which a lot of people were skeptical, right?
Mm-hmm.
So take that into consideration.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think that P-Rock's first statement, though, holds water, and it's not just about a Microsoft, it's about any developing team. So let's give Playground a little bit of room here so they step out of their comfort zone with racing. They go to Fable. Fable will be a decent game, I think. I really do.
They can't pull a Guerrilla Games, is that what you're saying?
I would say this.
It'll be tough.
I would say Playground has it harder than
yes.
Or they're gonna have a little bit more challenge than Guerrilla because Guerrilla at least made a completely new IP.
Yeah,
Fable has history. Fable is history. Yeah,
Fable.
There's history, so there's gonna
it's like a set expectation of what they want in the game.
Exactly. And there's gonna be certain people that expect something out of Fable because they played the first one or they played the second one.
Well,
there was no expectation with Horizon. There was nothing.
The thing is, from their dev direct with the Fable, they were saying everything that you want from an original Fable. Like from the original trilogy, they have all that in there. But as they said, it's like a soft reboot of Fable. Like they're doing it their own way.
I agree.
But they keep all the mechanics and everything that made Fable Fable. The morality, being able to buy everything, being able to marry 10 people, being able to have like 50 kids. You know,
I was shocked that they like were gonna actually do that because I thought like they were just gonna like do something like simple in terms of romance and because of it's a very different climate, so I didn't expect it.
The only thing for me is that gives me pause is the combat, man. I don't know. Yeah. It looks a bit rough around the edges.
So that's single. So all the things you're expecting, you think it's in the game, they have to actually execute, and hopefully they do. But this is what I'm talking about. You have an expectation already set. Horizon didn't have anything.
But also,
nobody said, "Oh, we expect this." It was just all right. So they had absolute freedom to have a complete vision on their own.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder. Now, I'm not arguing if they did or didn't meet that, but you haven't played the game yet. You could end up playing the game and you be like, you know what? You didn't fully meet my expectation. Or they did fully meet
my expectation. They can't do an Insomniac with Spider-Man.
In other words, and let me put it this way, Death Singer, you have an expectation set.
Yeah.
It's whether they meet it or not. And you won't know until, let's be fair, you won't know until you play it. You have to play it.
I won't know until I play it, but they're saying
and that's what I'm saying. You have an expectation and they have to meet that.
But also, I could give them the benefit of the doubt the same way people are like, well, I could give Guerrilla the benefit of the doubt because they make Killzone, and I could give they've proven they're a good studio. Playground have proven they've
proven a good studio. Killzone was not a good studio. They had one lucky game, but they were mostly known for bad games. I mean, you had what was it? Shell Shock.
I mean, to be honest,
the main thing is the truth is. There was no expectation to Horizon. There was nothing. It was just like, all right, we'll see what it is. There was no preconceived notion of what Horizon should be. In fact, most people weren't even sure what it was. Spider-Man's different. Luckily, the past Spider-Mans were not up to par to the AAA standard. But there was a no, to be honest, here's the thing. So with Spider-Man, we were lucky that nobody really knew that was happening until we saw that E3. And when we saw it, Insomniac did a fantastic job with the reveal. That got people like, holy shit, what the hell is this? But then also the previous Spider-Mans, there was only a few that really broke out, maybe like one or two, but most of them, like most comic games were cash grabs. It wasn't really until Batman Arkham Asylum that said, hey, you can make a comic book game and have it on the Game of the Year level. Like actually, I'm going to be honest though, Halo and Gears.
I feel like you're setting the standards too low for what we shoshould expect. Because if we can expect Insomniac to make like basically the best Spider-Man game, if we're going to expect these other studios to come out with their first new IP that's quite different from what they've done before and do an incredible job, I think of all Microsoft studios, we should be able to expect that from Playground as well.
And also, you have to remember,
I'm a bit, like I said, I am a bit biased because all they do is racing games.
And the thing is, Porterak, though, you also have to remember, like a lot of gamers now don't even know what Fable is. Bear in mind, Fable 3 came out in 2010, right? That is so long ago. Fable has been out, like only people like us who are older, who grew up with the original Xbox and the 360, even know what the hell Fable is. So it's like
but see, Dessinger, I don't know if I would sell that as a positive though. That's actually
they would because
some people may not give a damn.
They don't give a damn. They're gonna.
But I'll say this to Nib's point: if all of a sudden, word got out that Polyphony Digital is creating an RPG, I'm not gonna say, "Oh my god, this is gonna be amazing," simply because they made amazing Gran Turismo games. I'm gonna be like, "Okay, we'll see."
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm like, I'm gonna see where this goes."
Right.
They never made any game about racing for
I'm
20
gonna be
plus years.
pissed.
All right,
J-Dub.
But also,
knowing
Playground
that,
has
it'll
the-
be an RPG of cars.
Also, Playground has the advantage. Playground definitely
I actually
has the
think they do a
advantage.
good job, man. I think they could.
I actually think they will, because Playground has the advantage. They know how to make gorgeous open worlds, so they know how to make worlds. They already know how to do that. But also, they had help from Eidos Montreal to help shore up the RPG mechanics. And if you know Eidos, you'll know they made the legendary Deus Ex series, and that is a legendary RPG series, and they know a thing or two about RPGs. So you give them a bit of help. They probably also had input from Microsoft's own RPG studios, which you have a lot of. You have like In Exile, Obsidian. You could go to these people and ask them, yo, this, that. So I'm sure they got some input on it, because when he was delivering what the game is, because he was going through what your day-to-day would be in the game, he was saying everything I expect out of me personally. It doesn't matter if it's called Fable, what I expect out of an RPG. And they were just saying all the right things, like, oh, this is going to be a banging RPG, because they're saying all the right things. The same way Warhorse, when they were talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I was like, yo, they are saying all the right things. So I have a good feeling about Fable, and I think it's going to be a fantastic game. So, I mean...
Well, we'll see.
I have to... I know it's going to make me sound almost like biased towards Xbox, but... which, you know, most people wouldn't associate me with. But I genuinely am, like, yearning for Xbox to finally get back in the ring, if that makes sense. Like, I will be fucking over the moon and elated the day I can say, yeah, do you know what? Fuck yeah. An Xbox title was my game of the year. Like, I wanna be able to say that.
I said this last week to you, Nib, though, but when you and a lot of people say that, I don't understand the context anymore. Xbox is leaving the platform space. So that's like you saying. But hear me out. But it's like you saying
still produce high quality.
They bought high quality teams. I mean, they bought Activision, they bought Bethesda, ZeniMax.
I mean, making it their own.
Well, okay, okay. That's I guess you could say that, but it's like saying, you know what? Yes, this year EA's gonna do it. You know what I'm like?
I know.
It's not. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't.
I know.
Xbox is
we gotta look at it more as you gotta earn your stripes. Like Grand Theft Auto 6, we all could say that's probably a game of the year contender, but they earned those stripes. That's what I'm 100%. Saying with Microsoft. They just gonna have to earn it, you know. And it's possible they could do it, but I just think for Microsoft, I look at it as, you know, to go from being bad the last 10 years and then all of a sudden, oh look, we're making goaties. I think they need more. I think it's only fair to at least allow them to grow, instead of to expect them. Oh, you will develop a game of the year this year, or you're a flop. Like I think that's too much to say.
It's a lot.
You know, like for example, Fable could be a great game. I just not gonna say it has to be a goatee. Like I'm not gonna hold Fable goatee or bust. And that's not me saying low standards, but they gotta earn their stripes.
Yeah.
Now, if GTA 6 flops, I can say that. I could be like, oh shit. Like, you ain't a goatee? Oh yeah, you're gonna get this.
That does mean
you know what? And to be fair, I'll say the same thing to Naughty Dog. They earned their stripes. If Intergalactic ain't a goatee level type game, you're gonna get this work.
Yeah.
You're gonna get this.
But I mean, that's the reason I say, you know, there's a lot of hate at the moment for what's it called, Intergalactic, right? But obviously for different reasons, you know, all that fucking outrage merchant, fucking Grums, and all the rest of it, right? But like when people say, "Oh, you're just kissing ass to fucking," you haven't even seen this game. It's like, bro, have you seen the pedigree of Naughty Dog? They're actually the highest rated developer in the world. You know that on Metacritic, their profile is the highest rated. If you go back to Crash Bandicoot all the way to now, I think like the one bad rated game they have is like Crash Team Racing or something. But even you said Uncharted 1 didn't hit out the gate. I think even that is like 88 on Metacritic.
Well, see, for me, when it comes to Naughty Dog, though, and I'm glad you brought up Naughty Dog. When you sit there and say, if Naughty Dog does not, if Intergalactic doesn't do what we all think it'll do, we can all bash it all we want. Guess who's going to absolutely like take it out on themselves is Druckmann. Like He wants only excellence, right? But in my eyes, like when Todd Howard when Starfield didn't do what Starfield was like proclaimed to do, he was like, "Oh well, on the way to set of Fallout. See you guys later." And hey, guys, don't forget, we've got Fallout 5 coming out in 2035, and we've got Elder Scrolls coming out in 3 more years. You know, it was like he moved on. I think if Intergalactic doesn't make it, I think Neil Druckmann doesn't make another game. That's how he is. He's like that.
You know the conspiratorial me. I know like even now it's kind of been confirmed, so it's no longer a conspiracy. But I did mention about how like they're acquiring ABK and maybe Kotick, it doesn't have a positive future outlook for the Activision himself,
right?
Hence he can offload it and get his $400 million golden parachute, right? And maybe with Bethesda as well, they know what's going on with Starfield. Maybe it's not going to be this big thing that so many people are anticipating, and they obviously sold it too. So it's almost like, did Microsoft buy these publishers? And to be honest, same with Sony as well, actually. With Bungie, you could say. But did these publishers buy these other publishers when internally they knew they might face some strife going forward, and like they can just offload it, but because it certainly seems that way. Kotick literally said, I could foresee what was going to happen, and he said in an interview, even under me it was missing targets, but I knew going forward it would. And he was saying about how China and repetition in the franchise and all this other stuff, like, and as much as the guy is a weasel, like business wise he's savvy, man. He foresaw a lot of shit.
In fact, didn't he recently say, I think they're suing him because some shareholders or people who were shareholders are saying that he undersold it, and he officially said in court that the new Black Ops underperformed by 60%, like 60%. So you should be thanking me, because he knew this was happening. He saw this coming.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's like, hell yeah.
He did say performance under
under Microsoft's thumb.
But that's what he said.
Yeah. I tell you,
here's the question I have.
And to be honest, it's probably
world's richest.
And to be honest, it probably, like, I know we could try to pin on Microsoft. It probably was going to happen anyway, even if they did buy it.
That's what I'm saying.
And Kotick would have been stuck with the bag, but Microsoft gave him a way out, and he's like, "Oh shit, yeah, we're selling this shit, yeah, brand new Titanic,
give me about 400 million,
enjoy it, enjoy the Titanic. I got a great deal.
I got a great deal for you.
But
yeah, it's true.
I think Microsoft has some bad luck, man. They got some bad luck. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
Right? They say no, and they say no to like the big. They said no to Rock Band. They said no to Marvel. They said no to Grand Theft Auto 3. Like, God, Lee, you got some bad luck.
I know. But here's the thing: like, people talk about Bungie, but remove the
they let Bungie go.
Yeah, but even PlayStation, say they did make a big bad decision with Bungie, it's still like 2.5 billion, and then the rest is staff retention, right?
That's
not. I'm not saying it's not a lot of money; it's a huge amount of money, but it ain't fucking 74 billion. You know what I mean?
Listen. We're gonna revisit the Bungie conversation. We will get in depth with it. We'll talk about it as
go to sleep.
You wait till like no. When March 15th comes out, you see. I think Marathon's gonna do. I think Marathon's gonna do better than people think it's gonna do. I really do. And I'll tell you,
I don't know about that, dude.
It better.
But listen,
that game I'll hold it to the standard.
Nib, you couldn't start.
I'm holding it to the standard. It better do good.
Nib, you can't start. You can't start the show with a 45-minute high rant on Highguard and tell me that Marathon ain't got a shot.
I'm not saying I'm not. No. But this is the thing. I enjoy Highguard, but people aren't enjoying it. Right?
Don't be bragging about Highguard and rag on
Marathon. I was like, wait a minute now.
But the masses aren't. The masses aren't loving Highguard though, so it's irrelevant. I think what I'm saying is, even if I enjoy Marathon myself, I'm not sure it will have the mass consumers.
Well, again, I want to put things in perspective. I've been saying this very much. I've been saying it more on my Twitch streams when we've been playing Ark and talking about Marathon coming up. I am not saying that Marathon is going to have Ark numbers. I'm saying not at all. But people are also thinking that Marathon. They think Marathon. Yeah, well, wait, hold on. But P-Rock, you don't need P-Rock, you don't need to have that number on Steam to be long-lasting successful. You just can't have Highguard and Concord numbers.
This thing better be the most played game on Xbox, Steam, freaking iPhone,
Puerto Rock.
PlayStation. Listen,
No.
Sony spent $3.6 billion. I'm gonna hold the standard. You ain't gonna
No.
This is what you want. You better hold this thing. You better be.
Buddy,
you better be.
P-Rock,
$3.6 billion.
P-Rock. They got
one publisher.
P-Rock. No, they got Destiny 3 cooking right now. Don't you worry. They're gonna get all their money back and then
As a
some.
backup.
And right. Well, backup.
I don't know about that.
Hey,
I don't know why you're so confident. I don't gonna get this is an expensive game.
Hey, Mooch, I'm gonna tell you now. They have Destiny 3 cooking, and what they're gonna do is destroy your vaults again, so you lose everything you had from the first.
absolutely, 100%.
And
100%.
Destiny players will love it.
And Destiny players will love it, and they'll be right there for it.
Check it out. I can predict what Destiny 3 is going to do. Right, check it out. First of all, they're going to destroy your vaults. You're going to carry nothing over.
That's right.
So that's right. Again.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah,
And then
buy everything all over.
Buy it again.
What they're going to do is give you kind of like a good game, bit bare bones, but they'll give you it. And then what they're going to do is then they're going to give you a couple of expansions. Some will be mediocre, some will be good, because that's their track record.
Okay.
Right? And then what they're going to do is multiplayer is immediately going to be unbalanced as fuck. And then what's going to happen is they'll take 6 months to rectify that situation. And then what they're going to do is they're going to go, remember I gave you this entire planet called Mars in that expansion pack a while ago that you paid $30 for.
Yes.
Guess what? I'm taking that planet away from you now.
Right.
And it's just going to cycle's going to repeat. So shout out to Bungie. I wish you all the best with Destiny 3. But I tell you what, I can already predict that shit. I could tell you the roadmap for 10 years from the launch of Destiny 3, because Destiny 1 showed you, Destiny 2 showed you. Why would Destiny 3 be any different?
Okay, and they'll sell and everything you just
Let
everything
me
you
ask you a question. One more question. You asked me earlier what was it that made me excited about Highguard, right? And I said because the pedigree made it, blah blah blah. Why are you so excited for Marathon?
Marathon, it's the lore, the idea that you could take what Ark has done and put Bungie's first-person shooter mechanics involved in it. The way that they are changing things, they have 9 or 10 different. I don't know if they're calling it codex or whatever. The different, like the same way you were describing in Nib, you were describing Highguard. There's a cloak. There's one that's a rook. There's a cloak. What?
Be honest. Tell them it's Bungie.
It's Bungie. Well, but wait. No, but he wants now.
Bungie's like
Puerto Rock. Puerto Rock. That's
yeah,
not.
You're selling it to me. Come on, give it. I like this.
Mooch, you know.
Puerto Rock.
Listen, all we seen was
let me answer his question.
Intergalactic. All we saw was a bald chick drinking soda, putting a cassette player.
Yeah, but that's
game of the year.
Yeah, but I've seen.
Listen, I get it,
buddy. I've seen 60 minutes of Marathon, and there's the different classes. There's the different worlds.
It's Bungie.
But my point.
You trust.
My point is this.
You wouldn't be wrong, Mooch, in saying that. Like,
but I'm
going to
give him a real.
Tell me.
Yeah, but it's Nib. You can't tell Nib it's Bungie. Nib writes like you know what I mean. He writes term papers for tweets. Like, so he wants the whole thing.
Abilities, the codex,
so the abilities, the codex, the things that they can be, and that you can choose. Like when you do a free loadout in Ark, you have the Rook. I think they call it the Rook. And the Rook is going to go in bare bones, so it's kind of you go in with nothing, but it has these, and I don't have everything written down or memorized, but they have attributes that they can do certain things, and there's actually like an impact if you kill one of the Rooks. They've taken what has been Ark's like championship thing that I have 160 hours in of Ark right now that I am looking forward to taking that into the next evolution. Plus, I like the FPS portion of it. A lot of people like third person. I don't mind third person. I like it, but I do prefer first person. I think that they're also doing something major with where they have the Ark. They're going to have whatever the AI or the bots will be in this are going to be much more like almost like in Highguard, where you have bases to go to and defeating them and breaking through and getting something and grabbing. And when you go grab like,
don't you selling it to me here?
Listen, Nib, when you go in Ark right now and you go do a mission, it's like go over here, grab a piece of paper, open a fridge. That's the mission. I think this is going to be getting a piece of lore, finding something out, bringing something back, getting some more lore. That's what I'm saying. like
not playing. It's
cinematic
Bungie.
narrative feel.
I'm
to it.
excited
Nib.
for all of that. Plus
Nib.
planets, worlds.
Yeah.
I love the color scheme. I absolutely love the fucking color scheme. The one thing I'm pissed off about is why they made the Marathon controller, the one they did, and that they didn't make that neon green one that they have for the PS5, the actual Marathon controller. That's a Marathon controller. They really effed that up. But they got controllers. They got collectible. They got the collector's edition. They got headsets. They're all in on this. And honestly, they've got 6 or 7 different, and ranging from 2 minutes to 25 minutes on the PlayStation page to go check out the stuff. And I like it so much, not because it's Bungie. I mean, don't get me wrong, Porter Rock, I get that. It's Bungie. But I've been playing so much Ark, and I like the extraction. I want it to go to the next level. And I think they got something there. Now, do I think they're going to come out the bat and do what Ark did? No, I don't. I really don't, because people who love Ark maybe aren't going to make that transition. But I think it's going to get enough numbers to keep this thing going to where it is a success for Bungie and Sony. And I think it's going to work. I really do. Now, if they falter, that's on them, not on me. I'm just excited for that next iteration of extraction shooter. That's me.
Let me tell you,
that's a good pitch.
Bungie's the
Thank you,
Nib.
Nib. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, honestly, that means a lot for Nib to say that, because he would very easily turn around and be like,
because if you the things you described, right, if you think about it, like if you look at the shooters that I play the most, like Apex Legends, and obviously I'm playing
you
Highguard
like
a lot.
more of that, like character development.
Even though I really
build,
enjoyed Arc Raiders, it wasn't quite enough for me. Like, and I think having abilities and stuff in that world would actually elevate it.
Yes, I am looking forward to the abilities.
The art style of
Did you see, Nib? Did you watch the one where they go through the 9 or 8 to 10 different abilities? Did you see it?
No, I did not.
You really, honestly, do me a favor. It's like 9 minutes. It's very interesting.
I'll watch it after this. Yeah.
I'll send you the link, actually, because there's like 10 of them, and you'll be like, which one? You're like, I'm not going to siphon through all these. I have the one you'll want to watch. That was the one that kind of sold me.
How much is Bungie paying you, by the way? Because I'm apparently I'm getting paid honestly, by the Highguard people.
If anyone's listening, they always say people listen to the show. If they're listening,
I do the Highguard shit.
You know what? I have no problem.
You and Jeff Keighley got something going on.
Porter Rock, listen.
I don't know why y'all got going on.
I will gladly stream. I will stream on Twitch with the little ad. Yeah, exactly, right? I will put ad in the corner of my Twitch streams. I have no problem putting that out there. I will tell the audience.
The funny thing is, the developers
of sponsorship disclaimer.
Yes, I will. I promise. I will put it on there.
So one of the developers actually reached out to me. Obviously, I have no idea who they are. I've never spoken to them. I have no affiliation.
All right.
But they saw my tweets about it, and they said like, "Oh, if you have any ideas about what you want to add to it or what you want us to include in it in terms of skins and systems and stuff like that." And I was like, "Oh, that's actually." The fact that he asked me, because I actually do have a list of shit I want to give them. So I'm actually going to give them a list. Yes. I said I'm going to DM them, and I'll see if any of it makes its way. That'll be
Nib,
cool.
do me a better favor than that. Okay, add your list and then put my good friend Mooch would really like to get a review copy and be... okay, throw that out there.
A copy of a free game.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a Mooch. Come on. I gotta live up to it. No, that's great stuff. Honestly, I look at, like I said, I'm telling you I'm excited for the game, just the way some other people are excited for other games coming out this year. That game is exciting to me. If it becomes a flop and it sucks, I'll be the first to tell you. I'm not sitting here boasting and saying you guys need. I'm not telling you guys, Nib, anyone on the panel or the audience, don't buy it. That's on you. I'm saying I'm excited for it. But again, shout out to Blaze 4K and Lazy Vibes. We've been talking about this every week. The one thing that Blaze did say was, he's like, Mooch, listen, I know you're excited for this game, but make sure you try out there's going to be an open beta weekend before. That's gonna really determine what the hell's going on, right? So that
beg you, let me ask one more question.
Nib, you've already I was gonna end the show at 10:05. It's 10:40. Go ahead. This is what Nib does.
The thing that the public hate, but I love is I wouldn't say love is a bit strong, but Highguard, right?
Yes.
And then Jay Barry, he loves Concord.
Yes, he does.
Which, so questionable. But, what is, on the panel, what is the game that you really love that the public and the critics lambasted?
I'm going to let Red Hood, you go first. I need a second to think about that. That's great.
That is a hard one.
Nah, it's easy.
Man, I said it's easy. You go. Dustin.
Go ahead,
He's like
Death
Leisure
Singer.
Suit Larry.
I got slam dunk. No, Stay at the K2. Absolutely adore.
Oh,
it.
that's
that is true.
That's a
You
great.
did.
That's a.
Oh
That's
my
a-
God,
that's great.
bro.
I
Ain't no
adore
way. Ain't no
I
way.
love it. No, I love
Stay
it.
with the K2. Nah, I barely played it.
I rarely played that.
You know what? You know
Put-
what?
What do you got?
I got one.
What do you got, Red?
Unity, Assassin's Creed Unity.
Okay.
Ooh,
That
that's
was
a
like
good one.
like
That's
got
good.
mixed reviews, and I actually did like it. It had
I
a
thought
great
that was
parkour
actually the
system
one that
and
most
stuff like
people
that.
liked, though. Red. I thought people liked Unity.
Not back then.
No, that's right. No, not back then. That is true. That is true.
People lambasted that game, and I actually liked it. Story wasn't the best, but that parkour is the best parkour in any Assassin's Creed game to date, and they never
Unity.
replicated it again. So
Still one of the best looking, man. It looks insane, even today.
That's
And the
interesting.
crowd
Porter
system-
Rock, what do you
that is
got,
the one
Porter
with the
Rock?
big crowds, right?
That's the big crowd ones, yes.
that's
Yep.
big crowds.
Yeah.
Porter Rock, what do you got?
Oh wow, a game that
That you
that I
love,
love
that
and
the
people-
public
You love
hated.
or really enjoyed that the people and public didn't so much.
Oh, that's easy. Hellblade.
Okay. Now,
Listen,
Hellblade was pretty
and no. You guys came 2-3 years later. I'm talking the day it launched. None of y'all were there. That thing only sold 150K.
He's
So
right.
don't lie to me
He's
saying y'all
right.
played it. There's only 149,000
No, I
people
didn't,
around
I
the
didn't.
world that played it
Yeah.
with me during launch. I
He's
had
right.
a whole podcast on that thing, and everybody hated it to include PlayStation guy. I was alone. But then 2-3 years later, oh my god, this game is great.
Porter Rock's
nah,
right.
I was
Porter
there.
Rock's
I
right.
got lambasted
That's
for that
right.
game.
He's right. He's
I
right.
remember that. I had
I
a
did-
whole
I did-
podcast.
I
That was,
did get-
that was the one time PlayStation fans, PC fans, and Xbox fans united.
I don't accept
and
that,
destroyed
man.
me
Hellblade has
over
good
that game.
reviews as well.
Hellblade. I beat
I'm telling
Hellblade.
you.
I beat Hellblade on Xbox, and then I went and I got the platinum on PS on PlayStation later. But P-Rock's right.
when? Years later?
Yeah, it was years later. It was years later. Yes.
It was years, but yeah, me too.
Well, the Xbox one I got when it came out on Xbox, but you're right. It was years later. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not
I
wrong.
was all alone in these streets.
P-Rock was all
man.
by- P-Rock-
Everybody was like, Porter Rock, you
P-Rock-
couldn't expect much. This game sucks. It has no
P-Rock-
gameplay. I'm like, I
P-Rock
don't
was the
believe
only.
y'all.
He was the only one that was like, "Yo, dude, if you put your headset on, it's really crazy. It's great. You got to try this
Yeah.
out. Put your headset on."
Yeah, I was out here selling the hell out of that game.
Mooch, when I was on your podcast
Yes.
with the Xbox guys,
Yes.
I was the only one who was bigging up Hellblade 2. They were all hating
Yes.
on it.
That's
I
right.
remember that.
Well, I mean,
was
it
a-
was just a tech demo. I mean,
Hellblade
what are you
2
gonna
was
do?
rough.
See, there we go.
God bless you, Nib. Well, mine's not. I honestly, I'm going to come back to this question, but I'm going to give you an answer. Mine's Warzone. Like I like Warzone, and everybody thinks it's just not great.
Yeah, but I think that's like the way they complain about FIFA or Madden. Like, they don't
Yeah.
really hate it. They just love to hate
They
on it.
love to hate it. Yeah,
A
no,
bit like
I
Highguard.
know there's a game that I remember talking to crap about years ago, and I was talking about it, and I'm talking it up, and he's like, Mooch, you can talk all you want, and he goes, you're not going to get me or the audience to like it. I can't remember what the fuck it was. It was ages ago. So it's in the realm of what P-Rock was talking about with Hellblade, but I don't remember what the hell the game was. I don't remember which one it was that we were going back and forth. That's why I said I will come back to it, Nib, and give it to you. And it was on the air. I just don't remember what the hell we were talking about that time. But I know recently I get a lot of shit for that. People are like, oh, well, you probably just want to play Warzone. And I'm like, well, I like Warzone, but I mean, I get a lot of shit for that. Before Nib asks another question, I'm gonna go ahead and I gotta get up and go to work tomorrow. Nib, Nib, I want to play Highguard with you, and I'm gonna make that this weekend's must. I'd
love for us.
I'm gonna bother you to death, but I don't think you play video games when the sun's up. That's the thing. I think you play from
I'll
like
play whenever,
midnight.
dude. And you know the thing is,
till
I'm
like
like a
7
Samaritan in
a.m..
the game. I actually run people through the process. Like, oh, this is what you
I'm
need
all
to do.
about
This
it.
is the thing.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, and I like doing it, but like people enjoy it. They're like, oh, okay, I didn't know that.
I'm
I
gonna
didn't know
download
this.
it. I'm gonna download it on the Pro, and we're already friends on PlayStation. So you just tell me what time. I'll write you tomorrow and go, Nib, what time? And you just tell me what time. You can even tell me in time in England, and I'll do the math.
Just DM me. I'll
All
be
right,
there. I'll be
okay,
there.
with you. Shout out to these guys, these great guys. Shout out to everybody here. Please, guys, hit the like button on the way out. Let's tell the algorithm how much you love CrossFire. I'll go in reverse order and say, yo, Red Hood. Now, Red Hood, I'm glad you joined us, but I want you here for the whole 3 hours and 40 minutes next time. Okay, Red? That's the goal.
I mean, that was basically 2 hours.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, well, 2 hours was the old way podcasting was done. P-Rock's on 5 hours. I'm trying to hit 4. This is what we're doing now, Red. We have to hit all sorts of new standards. But, Red, Love having you here, buddy. Of course, I'm just kidding around. If I get 15 minutes with you on the show, I'm very excited. Red, thanks for being here. Let people know where they can find you, and you'll find me. Hopefully, we see Red in the Mooch chat when me, Blaze, and Lazy hit it up again on Saturday morning. But Red, let them know where they can find you, buddy.
Yeah, you can find me at Red Hood 240 and Red Hood 420 Twitch, YouTube. Been working and stuff like that, going to the gym. But content will be happening soon. So
I like it.
Look forward to that.
I like to hear that. More content out there, the merrier. Appreciate you so much, Red. The great Porter Rock 77. P-Rock, listen, you're East Coast now. You're not in New York anymore, but you're still East Coast. Let me just say this much. That means we got more P-Rock coming to Crossfire. It won't be back-to-back, but we got to get you on more often, P-Rock, because as you can see, the audience absolutely adores you. P-Rock, let people know where they can find you. They already know where, but let them know again. And look forward to your return already, buddy.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to see me next week if y'all going to spend all day talking Highguard. You forget about that one.
No, Highguard will not be on next week's episode.
Yo, Paul, let's get you on Highguard. Come on, man.
And I'm not going to be here on, what is it? You said March 15th? Yeah, Talking Marathon. I won't be there that day either. Yeah, and I'm not going to be there the day of Forza Horizon 6 release.
Oh.
Yep, not seeing me there
All
that
right.
day either.
All right, I'm writing these dates down.
Paul, don't you play multiplayer games?
He doesn't. He doesn't like them.
No, I don't. I'm moved on from that. I'm tired of 12-year-olds making fun of my mom. I'm just done. I can't. I don't have the temperament for that anymore.
He's got old.
I'm afraid I'm gonna say something stupid.
Hands don't have the reaction times anymore.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm gonna say something stupid, and then Sony, somebody does a whatever thing,
cancels
and then
you.
Sony closes my account, and I lost everything. So I don't even talk. I don't listen. If you're on the PlayStation Network sending me messages, I'm sorry for you. I'm not looking at them. I'm not saying anything to anybody. You gotta hit me on a Discord or on Twitter or on YouTube. Like, I don't talk or look at messages. You ain't closing my account.
I bet you Paul as well when he's
my
done.
account.
I bet you. We need to get him done.
So but anyway, thanks for the invite.
Always, buddy.
It's good to be back. Hit me up. Hey, check out my channel, Porter Rock 77. 60 frames no lag every Tuesdays, and then sometimes I do like a disagreement day on Friday where I post a link to the Discord, and you could just click the link, jump in, and you could curse me out or argue on any topic or whatever, or you just chit chat, whatever you feel like doing. I'll probably have that ready tomorrow. All right. But anyway, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yo, guys, go over and check out Porter Rock 77. He had a video out today too. Play Anywhere. You'll go over and check it out, man. Great video. Shout out to the great Nib who joined us. Nib who just probably platinumed the game during this podcast. Nib, always great to have you, buddy. Love what you do on X. We're all still anticipating your YouTube begin. It's going to be great. But Nib, honestly, tomorrow, Highguard, me and you, and we will talk a little bit about it next week on the show.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down.
I'm down for that. I'm down for that.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I will say, don't follow me, man. I can't be bothered for any more fucking people in comments. Don't bother following me. Don't worry about my name. Just listen to me on here. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, leave him alone. Everybody, leave him
Just
alone.
leave me alone, man. Let me play Highguard, and
Yes.
you guys could. The mob can hate on something else. For
Let him game in peace, people. Leave him alone. Shout out to Nib. Yo, Nib, I am reaching out to you tomorrow, though. I can't wait to play some games with you, man. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And shout out to the great Death Singer, who always lights up the room and the chat. Death Singer, the absolute chat loved you tonight, buddy. Honestly, I saw your name probably more than anything else mentioned in the chat tonight, which is amazing. But Death Singer, let people know they can find you, buddy. And as always, love when you're here. Love talking to you, buddy.
My outro is going to be what Grok did for me. Shout out to Grok. I'm only going to do a little bit of it. Friends, gamers, countrymen, Q Dodgers and review bombers. Lend me your ears and your deep friends. We gather today, just days after the launch of Highguard, to bid farewell to the PvP raid shooter that rode on a mythical bear mount, sword raised high, only to be unceremoniously shield broken by the merciless tide of
Tell
life's
Grok to teach you how to speak
reality.
English.
And then, what also made me laugh in Grok's thing is, it's later on in it, review bombers struck first, but even the faithful who played ours saw mixed, at best, reviews. The hype train derailed into Concord territory, another life surface corpse. felled by launch bugs, content drought, and gamer fatigue with endless grind fests. Shout out to Grok with the eulogy for Highguard. And they even included Concord, which is amazing. Shout out to Grok.
The thing is, though, Concord didn't even have 600 peak players. It's like 647.
Right.
And Highguard, even at its worst, is what, like 7,000 people playing simultaneously?
Yeah, and its
It's
peak
like-
was,
it's a different- it's a different
its peak was like
level.
60, 70,000, I think, or something like that. Maybe even higher.
I mean, there's 10,000 people playing right now. Interestingly, the review score is slowly creeping up on both platforms. That's really, I find that quite interesting. It's up to like 40% now. I'll be curious to see what it is like in a month, if it's still around.
Well, that's it. So that's the whole thing with games as a service, and we'll talk about that a little bit more next week. But that is, it's first getting people in the seat, and then the harder part is keeping them in the seat, retaining them, and not letting them leave.
Yeah.
And you can see Ark has done that. Pardon me, Helldivers 2 did that for a good stint of time. And now we're going to see if Marathon can do it and see if Highguard can retain it. I will say, shout out to Bespoke ! I got to call him. We need like a nickname for Bespoke ! Exclamation point. Buddy, it's a lot.
Well, you and Dessing are done.
It's a lot to say. Yeah, I know. Me and Dessing are. Well, it's 4 hours of talking. I will say, not to mention, I will say, at work today, I think I pretty much talked for like 5 hours straight. I'm shocked I have a voice. But Bespoke, that's what I'm calling Bespoke. Yo, Bespoke, thank you so much for following the channel, becoming a member, and then becoming a Mooch Maniac major family member. That's a lot of M's. Nonetheless, I want to say thanks to you, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks to all your super chats. You guys are all fantastic. We'll be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here, and we will be on twitch.tv, Mooch TV, same thing over on Twitch on Saturday at 11 a.m. with Blaze 4K and Lazy Vibes. We'll see you guys on Saturday on Twitch, next Thursday right here. Go play some games. We got a lot to talk about next week. Peace out. Good night.
Good night.